Hello, you exquisite individuals, you spectacular specimens of humankind, you glorious, glorious beings. We appreciate you all very much. How are you doing? How's it going? How are things? It has been many an evening since we last conversed. And it feels almost like deja vu today. We're going to be exploring exactly the same things we were meant to be exploring last week, but we got distracted by conversation, you know? How you doing, you beautiful individuals? Hello, hello. Oh my lordy. Coming in hot with Pixie Bomb there. Pixie Bomb coming in. Oh my god, where's my mirror? Oh my god, where is everything? Where is everything that I've ever written down anywhere ever? Oh my lordy. 25 months, Pixie Bomb, you cheeky devil. I should know describe your name on the mirror. Ving. By having our name on the mirror, Veiny means you get access to my personal Snapchat, not a bum Snapchat, you cheeky devil. And of course, you get access to all the sexy little emotes. But the most important thing is you got to roll over every morning, look in the mirror, go, God, I look rough. But goddamn, do I make rough look good? Ooh, harra, sexy. Oh, yes, meow, you know? Thank you very much for coming in hot there. I appreciate it. Zooty booty, you cheeky devil. I see what you did when I was away. Oh my lordy, what do you like, eh? Oh my lord, oh hold on. Haven't even said hello to anybody yet.
Ducks 22. Hooray for 22 months being a part of this exquisite cult. Oh, pick that mirror back up and work them biceps.
I will. Stupidia, you glorious bean. You have also been inscribed upon the mirror vein for nearly 2 years. Good lord. By having your name upon the mirror vein, it means you get access to my personal Snapchat, not a bum Snapchat, you cheeky devil, as well you know. And of course, you get access to all the sexy little emotes. But the most important thing is you'll roll over every morning, look in the mirror. Oh god, I look rough. But god damn, do I make rough look good? Ooh, harra, sexy. Oh, yes, meow, you know? It's the only way to do it. It's the only way to do it, you cheeky devil. Let me now scroll down and say hello to everybody. How's it going, Milky Pork? Hello, Kale. How you doing, Eris Ptolemy, you glorious bean? Discord's playing Silly Buggers tonight. Yes, I saw that it was doing messages failing to load and stuff like that, which is Discord being Discord. Discord being Discord, you know? Round 2, let's go. Round 2, this has got a little bit more structure now, Eris Ptolemy. I actually have structure as to how I'm going to attack this evening's subject. Do you know what I mean?
Most kind.
Pick that mirror back up because it's 21 months of the myth, the legend, the filth wizard themselves. Valen Vane everyone, the only Twitch streamer that always makes me question my sexuality every time. Time to make rough look damn freaking good.
That sounds about right, Granddad. That sounds about right, if I'm completely honest with you. I will inscribe your name on the mirror vein as well, you cheeky devil. By having your name on the mirror vein, it means you get access to my personal Snapchat, not a bum Snapchat. Of course, you get access to all the sexy little emotes. But the most important thing is you got to roll over every morning, look in the mirror. Oh god, I look rough. But god damn, do I make rough look good? Ooh, harra, sexy. Oh yes, meow, you know? My lordy. It's all ongoing tonight, isn't it? All going on tonight. How's it going, Faye? How you doing? Pre-roll ad for a bidet? There shouldn't be any fucking pre-rolls. Oh, the pre-roll ads are on until the first ad break, which is a fucking ball ache. Oh, well, you won't get any more ads, or you shouldn't get any more ads now that you've watched the pre-roll. Odd, though. It shouldn't be doing that. Shouldn't be doing that, yeah, but you know.
Subscribed. Most kind.
Grand Zenarch! You cheeky devil, thank you very much for giving that sub to the community there. So this wonderful individual. I've inscribed your name upon the mirror vein. I won't call you out just in case you're lurking, yeah, but your name is now
subscribed. Most kind.
See how it is. See how it is. Sappho Thornback, thank you very much for giving that sub to the community as well. No, Prags gifted it to Sappho. Oh, and I called them out. I didn't mean to call you out, Sappho. If you're lurking, stay lurking, friend. Stay lurking. You've got the names the wrong way around. Your names are inscribed on the mirror vein, which means you get access to my personal Snapchat, not a bum Snapchat, you chicken devils. And of course, you get access to all the sexy little emotes. But the most important thing is you got to roll over every morning, look in the mirror. Oh god, I look rough. But god damn, do I make rough look good? Ooh, harra, sexy. Oh yes, meow, you know? It's the only way to do it. The only way to do it, friends. You know? How you doing, Faye? How's it going? Milky Pork, you glorious bean. Hello, Lil Gem. How you doing? I'm doing very, very well. Thank you very much. How are you? I have been away. Wednesday after stream, I went straight out to McSteffels' place and spent the entire week there because it was half-term week where McSteffels lives in the country. So I was spending some quality time with McSteffels and her kid. We had a great time. We had a wonderful, wonderful time out there. We went to a big shopping center that had like a big climbing wall thing in it. So me and McSteffels' child went climbing, and while McSteffels went shopping. And then we went for a Wagamama, which was delightful. And then we went to the arcade, where we spent a whole load of coinage. And McSteffels' child won a dogtopus. A reversible dogtopus on the grabby machine, which is like an octopus-style teddy that is like, you can turn its head inside out and it becomes two different things. On one side, it was a pug, and on the other side, it was like a sausage dog. It was very peculiar. But it still had 8 arms. It was very weird. But they were super happy that they won something in a grabby machine for the first time ever, which was fucking amazing. It was great to see them. Do you know what I mean? Zooty Booty, I see you, cheeky devil. I see you. Excuse me? Excuse me? Jingles and jangles? Somebody doing something with throne? You cheeky little devil, you. You cheeky little devil.
Panda to my ego.
Done?
Panda to it. Panda to it.
Cheer 100 mummy mummy ma.
Indeed, lots of mummies going on. Lots of mummies. That's what we'll be talking about this evening. We have a structure. I've sent it to Eris Ptolemy. It's not going to be covering everything because there's far too much to fucking cover. I've been reading article after article after article all afternoon. There is far too much to cover, so we have structured it into some description of things. Thank you very much, you glorious bean, for contributing towards the Alien RPG role-playing game rulebook. I appreciate you, you beautiful bean. I very much appreciate that. Thank you very much. It means a lot. It means a lot. I won't call you out just in case you don't want to be called out, but I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that, beautiful individual. How's it going, Mizuki? How you doing, you beautiful bean? Let me give you a shout out there because Mizuki is a glorious individual who deserves all of your love and attention. Apparently, the bot's not working. Let's turn it off and turn it on again, shall we? Turn it off and turn it on again, and then shout it out again. There we go. People go check out Mizuki. Ooh, playing Song of Horror. That is on my list. That is on my list. Astacon, hello, you got Astacon. I need to speak to you. Not in a bad way, don't worry. In all of the positive ways. In all of the positive ways, friend. I just haven't spoken to you in ages, and I realized there was something we were meant to do like a fucking year ago. There was also something I was meant to ask you about like a year ago, and I completely forgot about that as well. So drop me a DM, please, friend, and that'll remind me to harass you about it. Rian Monster, hello, you beautiful individual. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Griff Star. Oh, my lordy. All of the people coming in here. Finished your wonderful podcast. Thank you for making them. Thank you so much for listening, Griff Star. I mean, it means a lot, friend. It really does mean a lot. Thank you very much. I've been trying to... My promise to myself in regards to the podcast, because I was setting up everything for season 3 of the Thirsty Work podcast. I was setting everything up, and then I was like... before I set up a 3rd season, I need to work out how to monetize the podcasts I already have. Because at the moment, the podcasts are already going out there, and it's great, and it's wonderful and glorious, but I am getting nothing from them. Not even pence. Not even pence. If I'm making pence, I'll be happy. But at the moment, I'm not even making pence. So I need to work out what the fuck I'm doing wrong there. But, you know. How's it going, Taken? How you doing? Shade Seekers, hello, you beautiful being. Jetso, how you doing? How's it going? Tell me something wonderful. I have just got back from seeing McSteffels and had a wonderful weekend away, spending some quality time with their child and just having a glorious day. I took the train back, so I managed to work on the train on my way back as well. Things are good. Things are great. Also, I turned the heating on. which is a little bit earlier than I would have liked, but Chunk's got a chest infection, so I don't want to I don't want to aggravate the chest infection. But as a result, I feel a lot better as a human being because the heating's on, you know? So those are all good things. Little wins that will lead to bigger wins, you know? You know, how you doing, Prags? Popping by and say hello. We appreciate you. You take it easy. Thanks very much for stopping by and gifting that cheeky little sub there. I see what you're doing, you cheeky devil. Grand Zenak, how you doing? How's it going? Heggin Stockton here for backup if you need. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Aristolomy. There may be points where I'm like, Aristolomy. But what I'll do is I'll talk about the structure. And what I might do for the future ones is to do like a structural thing in for the next ones as well, you know? You know, one true cripple. Hello, you glorious bean. Oh my lordy, all the beautiful people coming in here. All the beautiful people coming in here. Milky Pork, you say it's getting colder. You need to be warmed up a little bit. Well, you could turn on your heating, or you could just get nice and close and personal to me, you cheeky devil. Nice and close and personal to me. Let me just. Nice and close and personal to me. I see what's going on. Getting all close. Getting all up in my business. Why? Because I'm too hot to handle. Oh. Oh, it's tantalizing. Too much. Too much. Sassy. What do you like, eh? What do you like coming over here, getting all up in my business, getting all close and personal, getting all hot under the collar? You cheeky devil, you. You cheeky devil. You love my energy? Thank you very much. I don't know how else to be. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know how else to be. This is the only way I know how to be. Just me and this energy. Oh, shit. I completely forgot to say. Today's intro track was Seeds of Gold by Closure in Moscow. Closure in Moscow. Who are a phenomenal band. And you should check them out if you enjoyed the intro track. Let me just pull up this thing as well in anticipation of shit that's coming. Hey, do 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 do. Bit of Cowboy Bebop for you all there. Bit of Cowboy Bebop. As you do, you know. There we go. Cool, sorted. Salted. How you doing, Unicorn Bomb? Hello. Have another? Me like catching up early gorgeousness, you beautiful individual. How's it going, Elizana? Hello. You take it easy, Prags. Any wall is a climbing wall if you're dedicated enough. To be fair, some of the walls that they had in this shopping center were pretty intense. There was like walls made out of clear perspex. So you were like climbing with somebody else climbing on the other side of the wall, which was really fucking weird. You had walls that had big rotating bits in it. So as you climbed on the wall itself, it moved, which was fucking confusing as shit. And what were the other ones? There was like Mario style pipes, like green pipes that went up in a big like cylinder and you couldn't use your hands. And that was pretty They had a lot of stuff going on. It was impressive. It was impressive for a random climbing activity in the middle of a fucking shopping center. But I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And the kid enjoyed it too, which is what the most important thing is, you know? Most important thing. Misuki, you glorious bean. Hello. Safi! How you feeling, Safi? How you feeling, you beautiful bean? I know you'll be feeling heavy of heart with your darling having left you after 11 days. I have left my darling after a mere 4.5 days. And my heart is also heavy. Also heavy. You know? Stupedia, I completely forgot to say. Thank you very much for the 100 little panderings. I appreciate that. Stupedia! I see your 49 little panderings that you managed to sneak in there as well. I see you, you cheeky devil. Until next time I get ill. Well, that started yesterday. Lesai. Hey, Lazana. Rest. Do the resty thing. Do the resty thing. Do. Do the shuffle. Do the shuffle. Do the shuffle. Do the resty thing. 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 You know? You know, Cursed Bot, thank you for the shouting out. You're very, very welcome, Misuki. Well deserved. Well deserved, you beautiful bean. I've been flu. Ah, Astagon. Well, I hope you do the resty thing as well. Do the resty thing. Do the resty thing. Do the resty thing. Do the resty thing. Just for you as well. All those people that are being ill. Do the resty thing. Do the resty thing. Do the resty thing. You know, all of the resty things. You know. You're so not okay today? Well, hopefully we can put a smile on your face, Vegetto. Hopefully we can put a little smile on your face. You know? Taken, I realize that it may well have been a fleeting visit before you disappear off back to the wonderful world of work. But I appreciate you coming and spending the time. Taking the time to come and say hello. I appreciate you, beautiful bean. I appreciate you. Take it easy. Obviously, if you're sticking around, you're more than welcome to do that as well. You know? Go on another 3-day killer headache. Oh, my lordy. Nothing works? Shit. I don't know. This is the problem. It's one of those things where you're like, I don't know what else to say. Because I know all too well. I know many people in my life that have got a headaches for no reason whatsoever, and there is no way of getting rid of them. It's shit. It's really, really shit. I hope that you have people around you that are able to pick up some of the slack, so to give you some of the freedom to just allow the headache to be, you know? You know? So a picture of you at the mall with McSteffels and the kid. It was heartwarming. Yeah, they were great. They were great. They are great. They're a great little kid. Great little kid. Shade Secrets, Glorious Bean. Rowan Rose, hello, you beautiful individual. I hope you're feeling better, Rowan. I hope you're feeling better, you Glorious Bean. Astacon.
Pander to my ego. Pander to it. Pander to it.
Mr. Trilby.
To bring a little hippiness into Valen's heart until McSteffels is close again.
Mr. Trilby, that's very kind of you. Thank you very much for the 500 little panderings, you beautiful bean. That's very, very kind of you. You didn't have to do that. It does bring me a little hippiness. Just a little hippiness. Just a little hippiness. Astacon, you beautiful bean. You have redeemed a Victorian advice. I'll find Victorian advice. Oh, Jesus, where's my little spectacles? I need to do the spectacles for Victorian advice. Fuck, where are they? Ah! Don't mind me. Just, creating the spectacles. Aha! Astacon has redeemed Victorian advice, which means we will be reading from Don'ts for Wives, a book published in 1913, a year before the suffragette movement. I feel like my camera's a bit skew-if. There we go, that's all right. We are on chapter 7, Evenings at Home. This is a book published in 1913 by Blanche Ebbett, a year before the suffragette movement. So we are expecting a lot of misogyny, but so far we've done pretty well. So far we have done pretty well. Ooh, this is interesting. And this one, I rebuke thoroughly. Don't refuse to see your husband's jokes. They may be pretty poor ones, but it won't hurt you to smile at them. Now, I think we all know how I feel about dad jokes here, and therefore I rebuke this. You should not suffer ridiculous jokage. You should not suffer preposterous jokes that make you cringe in your very soul. When your soul cringes like it is sucking on old putrid lemon. At that moment, you can rebuke that horrible joke. Oh, dearie me. Oh, dearie me. Kindred. Oh, Kindred. Hi, friend. Also, Kulknar, how you doing? I see you in there, cheeky devil. Oh, Kindrin. Using your channel points, you have redeemed dad joke. I can't believe you've done this to me. I can't believe you've done this to me. Hey, come here. Come here. No, come here. No, come here. Too close. Right. Why did the pharmacist walk on their tiptoes? Because they didn't want to wake the sleeping pills. Sleeping pills, because they're pills to make you go to sleep, but they're sleeping pills because they're asleep. She was on her tiptoes, so she was super quiet and didn't wake the sleeping pills. Oh, a joke's so much funnier when you explain it. Well, I hope you all have as much regret as I do. Thank you, Kindrin, for redeeming a dad joke there. God damn it. God damn it. Just after we talked about jokes as well. God damn it. Just get the error signal. Well, the error signal, you may ask. It's like the bat signal, but more chaotic. It's just a load of squiggles that are shining in the sky, Eris, you know. Oh, my lordy. Right, where the fuck were we? I'm worrying a while we fell in love with the ones that my partner spotted online. Aww. It's a drive-by of day of free hugs. Claim whenever. I shall lurk. Blank, you lurk away, you beautiful beings. We will happily take the free hugs. I appreciate that. Friends, if you would like a free hug, Blank is offering them. 135 Blank is offering them. They are lurking, so please don't disturb their lurk, but happily take one of the free hugs. You know? Depends on the day. Joys of Eris Mobile. Of the Eris Mobile, as it works 3 days a week. Oh, God, yeah, I remember all that. What days are those? Depending on what your zodiac, your father's cousin's girlfriend's brother's uncle's roommate was born in. That's fair. That is fair. That is entirely like, I can understand that in my soul. Do you know what I mean? Kulknar, how you doing? Distance dating has its downside, but makes seeing him the next start all the more exciting. I completely agree, Safi. Completely agree. The joys of distance dating is 100% the amount that you value the time together. The amount that you value the time together. You know, doesn't stop me from wanting to live inside his skin. I mean, bold. I have to say. Though I think you'd look absolutely smashing with a beard. Do the sexy thing. Do the sexy thing. Do the resty thing. Do the resty thing. Because so many people are ill. They need to rest. All right. Friends, in about a minute's time, there will be 3 minutes of adverts. It will last for exactly 3 minutes. You will not miss out on anything because we will do the what is Valen wearing today section. You know? Yeah, you're in the background while I write poetry for this competition. I've got amazing. Sounds great, Taken. Sounds absolutely fucking fantastic, buddy. I hope it all goes well. I hope it all goes well. I'm not to be honest, but as they say, the horrors persist, but so do I. Yes, Rowan Rose, so you do. So you do. We like it when you persist. We like a good persisting Rowan Rose. You know? And a few months ago when I found the perfect mold for my feet. First one, don't hurt me even after hours of standing. Friends, bit of advice for you. Bit of advice. I fucked up my fucking glass. There we go. Bit of advice. If you are wearing plastic shoes, if you've got brand new shoes that you have purchased, either from the internet or from some description of store, if they are made out of plastic, put them on your feet and take a hairdryer to them on the hottest setting. Okay? Cool them very swiftly across so that nothing gets burnt. And it will melt the plastic ever so slightly to mold to your feet. You are less likely to get blisters that way. Also, if you have leather shoes, leathery shoes, the best thing that you can do with leather shoes is get a pair of socks. Soak them in water and wring them out as much as possible so that they're still like wet fabric, but like slightly damp fabric. Wring them out as much as possible. Then put the wet socks on and put your wet socks into your leather shoes. Like, they need to be ever so slightly damp. Not wet, just ever so slightly damp. The wetness of the sock will create a malleability within the leather. It will make it all flexible. And that will help it mold the leather to your feet. Moist fabric, exactly. Moist fabric. When your socks are nice and moistened, they will help mold the inside of your shoe to the contours of your foot. Very similar to an alternate area of moistness. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Music shush. For now, friends, is the time for what is Valen wearing today. Ladies and gentlemen, and all genders outside and in between, it's time for what is Valen wearing today? Valen is getting quite toasty in the fact that he's turned the heating on and has decided to wear a velvet gown. This is because, of course, it's Mythical Mondays and he needs to look like Vincent Price in order to talk about horror stuff. Let's see what else he's got on, shall we? Yes, friends. Oh, Jesus. Knocking things over. I am also wearing black trues and currently quite fluffy socks. Quite fluffy socks. A little fluffy sock, you know? Like a little fluffy sock. big fan of the old fluffy sock. Oh, I am a little on the out of breath side. You know? I rebuke thee in the name of Cthulhu. Cthulhu for dark. You know? Oh, I'm catching up. Kindred, good timing. It just arrived. You were putting your glasses on. And then you decided to bring out a dad joke of all things, Kindred. Of all things. Lola Frosty, how you doing? Dad jokes are funny. Depends on which ones, though. If life gives you melons, then you might be dyslexic. Well, I'm glad you all enjoyed that. Enjoyed the misery that was the dad joke. Gosh darn it. And welcome back all those people that have just been watching ads. You know? Van's delivery on these. The pause made it even more funny. I despair. I absolutely despair. I really do. 75k well spent. Quaint Cat, how you doing? How's it going? I can bring some actual mirth. Okay, I managed to trip my breaker for the whole house yesterday with a Peshwari naan. One of the raisins fell into the toaster. As he was toasting it, shorted it. How? What? There's so much. What? The only thing that would have made that more British is if it had been a tea cake. You know? You know? Even after my stream decided to buffer that. I'm good. I'm glad. It might have tried to save you from the ridiculousness. Ridiculousness, Elazana. You know, just 50k of another dad joke. I think there's only one a stream, Milky Pork, because there was a period of time where the, not anybody in particular, the community as a whole milked the fuck out of dad jokes, which was fine because some people would only come in once every 2 weeks or once every week or what have you. But for those of us that were literally here every single stream, and me, who had to deal with it every single stream, it got a little bit much. So I think I've limited it to like one a stream. So there'll be no more dad jokes. Fuck this noise, you know. Already planning to go back to London Comic Con on May 2024 because it was fucking amazing weekend at London Comic Con at the end of October. I'm glad to hear it. Got a lot of stuff from Comic Con. Met the crew of Baldur's Gate 3 and Critical Role. Got a hug from pictures from autograph from Mysterian's VA. I waited almost all day in the queue on Saturday for the promised hug from Friday. Oh, I appreciate that. That's good. I'm glad you got it. I've heard good things both from the people that worked Comic-Con as well as the people that attended. So I'm glad that you enjoyed it, you know. I need to do more convention stuff, but of course, it all requires cash, monies. So I'm working slowly but surely on selling my soul. You know? So you lost power because of the excess current from a current. I hate you, Asticon. I hate you and the horse you rode in on. Alright? Are the tiptoes because they look like they took the sleeping pills? Possibly. They were just sneaking around, you know what I mean? But sexy thing, while we're sick, do you know what? Not even a word of a lie, Aristotle. Not even a word of a lie, friend. The most, like, hot under the collar, the most aroused that I will ever feel is when I'm sick. When I'm ill, I feel real horny. Because of the fact that I do not want anybody to ever see me in that state. And it's that whole want something that you can't have. Do you know what I mean? I really want something that I am not prepared to let myself have. Because I don't want anybody to you know. Doing the resty thing since he is ill. You're ill as well, one drinkable. No, boo and hiss. All of the ill people today. Do you know what? There's some really bad flus and stuff going around at the moment. Chunks had a flu for like a week. And it's now like sort of settled into his chest, into like a horrible chest infection and shit. So yeah, it's bad. Bad times, friends. Bad times, you know. How's it going, Rabbit's Burrow? Hello, you beautiful bean. I'm assuming that's 100% rather than the cloth interior hiking boot style leather shoe. Yes, 100% leather. Like a Doc Martin or something like that, you know? Like a Doc Martin or something like that. If you're wearing boots, wear 2 pairs of socks, one thin next to your skin and one thick next to the boot. So the sock rubs against each other and not against your skin. I suppose that would work for stuff like the new age walking boot and stuff like that. Would probably work quite nicely with that. But when it comes to walking shoes, I was always taught, because I went to Army Cadets once upon a time, before they realized that I was not prepared to cut my hair. Gits. They... Words, Val, come on. Yeah, they were always of the, they were saying, like, with walking shoes and stuff like that, you should always buy a size larger or half a size larger. So if I was an 8.5, I'd buy an 8. If I was a 9.5, 9, I'd buy an 8.5, etc. Because they were designed for you to wear multiple pairs of socks, like Mr. Trilby was saying there. Like you wear a thin one and then a thick one. However, you just end up getting real fucking sweaty feet. And sweaty feet, after a good while, friends, they hum. They hum so unbelievably pong whiffy. Smelly, smelly poo-poo. You know? That scared me, the joint when the music was blaring. Oh, Star Gaming Girl, I hope you're okay, friend. Van is wearing clothes. It's true. Just underwear? What makes you think I'm wearing underwear, Lolo Frosty? Perhaps I am Commando. Very unlikely, because I've got a delightful array of very, very alluring underwear. But you never know. You never know. Who's gonna find out, eh? Me, and only me, and possibly Chunk, depending on which room he's in when I decide to get unchanged. You know? You know? Agent Vane. Yeah, exactly, the only way to do it. Metal Gear Solid. It is very Metal Gear Solid, that track. It's like, so I was trying to get something, because originally the What is Valen Wearing Today section was only 2 minutes long. And then in order to get into the ad incentive program, we made it 3 minutes long. Which was fine, which is grand, which is what we've got at the moment. And you know what? It's working. But as a result, I needed to find something that was going to fit for the 3 minutes in order to do that whole game showy thing. When I have some money, you know, when I'm not buying brand new fucking motherboards and when I'm not buying new washing machines and all that fucking shite, I have every intention of paying somebody to make a track that's like a 3-minute game show track so that we don't keep using royalty free stuff and I can actually, you know, make sure that what I'm using is my own copyrighted music, as it were, you know? But yeah, at the moment, way down the priority list of things that need actually funded. Do you know what I mean? Things that need actually funded. Vane, Valley Vane. Valen Boss Valen. I'll take Boss Valen. We'll take that. Do you know what I mean? What is Valen finding today? Good question. Brats. Brats everywhere, Lolo Frosty. Mama Snow, how you doing, you beautiful bean? Valen Snake. Snake? Snake? Snake! You know? Sorry, it reminds me a bit of Bill Bailey. I can understand that. I can understand that, Captain Bambish Bench. How you doing, you beautiful bean? I hope you and the family are doing gloriously well. I fucking loved your Halloween costumes. They were great and wonderful. Where in the world is Valen San Diego? Oh, my lordy. Just throwing my name into all of the movies right now, right? I'm suspecting I might have cracked a rib at the gym yesterday, so in a bit of pain, feeling a bit distressed over money again. But doing good other than that. I was about to say, distressed over money is an ongoing thing for a lot of us. A lot of us, especially at the moment, especially with the way that the government are doing shit. Ha! But yeah, I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not gonna get into it. Not gonna get into it. Not gonna get into it. Don't get into it, Val. Don't get into it. Don't. Okay, we're good. We're moving on. We're moving on. We're all good. Do you know what I mean? We're all good. Van, to be fair, can blame Blanche for prompting that dad joke. Don't you start, all right? Nobody said dad jokes. Nobody said dad jokes. All-Star Gamer Gal, you're all good. You're all good. Nobody said it. It's all right. It's fine. You know? Yay, selling souls. Exactly. I think Astragon is raising the bar with that pun. Not going to do it anymore. God damn it. God damn it, Milky Pork. The sheer level of God damn it across Val and Vane's face after that punchline, right? It was potent, is what it was. Potent. I will say, Amelia Tyler is literally just an all-round great person to chat with. Like, if I ever got the chance to meet her again, I would definitely chat again. Millie's fantastic. Amelia Tyler is a glorious, glorious individual. I obviously knew Jay Britton for quite a while, who's Amelia Tyler's partner. And I knew Millie by proxy. Like, I'd popped into a couple of her streams a long time ago when she first was streaming. But it was like it was a passing acquaintance. But then we did a show with Peachy Pixelate and Safi Pie, who was in the chat earlier, and Tashna and Tsechka, where we played. Yeah, it was Glitch. It was Glitch, and it was run by Peachy Pixelate. It was done on the Wandering In channel. It is available on YouTube. And it was fucking brilliant. It was great. But that was the first time that me and Amelia Tyler, Millie, really got to know each other in like a friendly setting, you know? And honestly, fucking brilliant human being. Hilarious individual. Strongly recommend that people go and follow her on all of her social medias. Oh, I've got such an itchy nose now. Strongly recommend people go follow her on all the social medias because she's just fucking hilarious. And do you know what? It's brilliant. It's one of these amazingly humbling things to see somebody that you have known for a while and that you are friends with succeed. And succeed at such an amazing level. You know? Like seeing Jay Britton now. Like Jay Britton has absolutely fucking skyrocketed with their partner stuff. They're averaging like way into the hundreds and 50s 200s viewers every stream. They're doing amazingly well, and it is a fucking amazing thing. It is a genuinely amazing thing to see your friends who you know work their fucking ass off for their career, their choice in career, to push that far and do as well as they're doing. It's honestly, it's fucking brilliant. It is so good to see. It is so good to see. Was wondering, what's your plan for like 5 years time? Saw a video today about how Twitch was beginning to recess and falter. Are there plans to change where and how you make content? Seems like an occupational hazard, though my heart goes out to creators like you who leave it all on the court. My 5-year plan is constantly evolving. I do.
Subscribed. Most kind.
Max, you cheeky devil. Thank you very much for giving that sub to Safi Pie. I do have a 5-year plan, but my 5-year plan is flexible because it has to be flexible. It has to be flexible. You cannot, you can't do a job like this and not be flexible because of stuff like what happened to Vine. Let me do this and I'll explain. Safi Pie. Your name is now inscribed upon the mirror vein. Thank you very much, Max, you glorious bean. By having your name upon the mirror vein, it means you get access to my personal Snapchat. Not a bum Snapchat, you cheeky devil. And of course, you get access to all the sexy little emotes. But the most important thing is you roll over every morning, look in the mirror, go, God, I look rough. But god damn, do I make rough look good. Ooh, harra, sexy. Oh, yes, meow. You know? You glorious individual. Please do. The industry fascinates me. Oh, it's as an industry, I fucking love it. I absolutely fucking love it. And to the point where I'm actually going to be doing, I haven't got a date yet, but it might be, I might do it instead of the community art competition this month because there haven't been any submissions for the community art competition, which is fine. So I might do it on that day instead of the community art competition. But what I'm planning is doing a streamer Q&A where people can come and ask me questions about what I know about the industry. They can ask me about my experiences streaming. They can ask my advice on streaming, their problems that they might be facing or stuff like that. I put it to the vote in the stream last Monday. Actually, it was last Monday, saying would people be interested in it. 100% said yes. So it was like, cool, I will do one. And then people that would like to know more about the industry can turn up to that stream. And if they don't want to know about the industry, they don't have to turn up to the stream. Do you know what I mean? Do it outside of my usual schedule, so it's not clashing with anything else. I'm not replacing it with anything else. But I feel like I've been doing this for 5 years, and honestly, I fucking love the industry, and I find the industry so fascinating that I'm more than happy to do that. I think that I don't think that Twitch is going anywhere. I don't think Twitch is going anywhere. In the 5 years that I have been streaming, there has at least once a year. You don't look a day over 2, right? Tell me about it. It's all the oil of Ole I've been using since I was 30 seconds old. Yeah, I don't think Twitch will be going anywhere, because every single year that I have been streaming, like literally every single year, apart from 2020, there was comments about how Twitch was faltering and how it wasn't going anywhere and how the future of live streaming lay on other platforms and stuff like that. Like, realistically speaking, I don't think Twitch is going anywhere, because I actually don't think there is any competition for Twitch at the moment. The only competition you have got is YouTube and Kick. Kick is a shadow of Twitch. It literally, everything about it is a copy of Twitch, and their only marketing to try and get people over to them is off the back of Twitch. Twitch do something wrong, and all of Kick's social media jump on Twitch doing something wrong and go, hey everyone, come to Kick, come to Kick, come to Kick. Without Twitch, I don't know what their marketing plan would be, because it's like they do like school ground bullying effectively, or school ground tactics for I told you so, man. The only other option is YouTube, and YouTube have pulled out pretty much all of their funding, or not all of their funding, but a lot of their funding on the live streaming platform side of things in order to push it into short form content like TikTok. So realistically speaking, Twitch are still and will continue to be the forerunner in live stream, on the live stream aspect of things, because there is no one else that does stuff like it. That being said, live streaming is extremely limiting. Live streaming is extremely limiting in regards to what you can do with that content and how you can monetize that content. That music got really loud. So I don't think Twitch is going anywhere by any stretch of the imagination. My plans in regards to the next 5 years, I couldn't possibly tell you. In regards to the next 3 years, I am intending to do these streams. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It frees me up to be able to do other content so that I can do it. The only thing that I really want to do in regards to content creation is make sure that I can cover my bill. So long as I can cover the staple things that I need to exist as a human being, I don't mind. I will constantly push and keep pushing into different directions and stuff like that, and it's fucking hard because there is no security at all in a content creation career. But you know, I don't need a million billion trillion pounds. I just need to cover my ass. You know, that's literally it. And so long as I keep feeling like I'm creating, and so long as I keep feeling like I am moving forward in some way, shape, or form, I'm gonna keep going. You know, terrifying. Oh, fucking shit, scary. Shit, scary. Fucking horrible. Because there has never been a point where there has been any security in the 5 years that I've been doing it. Because I'll have like one good month where I'll get like over $1,000, for example. But then that money can't go anywhere at all, because I can guarantee that there'll be a few bad months, and there have been, where that whatever I made on that very good month makes up for all of the stuff that I'm missing off the bad months. You know? as a point of variation, I can't give you exact numbers, but I can tell you that the lowest in the past, like, year, the lowest that I have earned is around about the $200 mark, and the highest I've earned is about the $1,200 mark. I can't give you exact numbers because I'm not legally allowed to as per the contract and stuff like that, but I can give you those. Like, the variation is fucking massive. Fucking massive. But it's part and parcel of the industry, you know? Part and parcel of the industry. Taxes for streamers is a nightmare because of what I've heard, because it's unstable income. It's not so much of a problem in the UK. In America, it's a fucking nightmare. In America, it is a real nightmare because of how you do it. In the UK, you do your own accounts, and all the tax office are really interested in is how much you earn, how much you spend, like how much you owe. They will expect all of the thingies, but realistically speaking, it's no different from being a self-employed performer, for example. You get good months where you get loads of fucking work in. You get bad months where it's like, shit. Do you know what I mean? Do you think a platform that offered a salary position would be popular? I don't know any platform that would offer a salary position taken, because live streaming doesn't make enough money. It takes the outgoings are far too high. Neither do I. The outgoings are far too high, and also the responsibility is far too high, because when a creator makes a fuck up, it's all on the creator. It's not like, it's very minimally on the platform. The platform, if they make a massive fuck up, like recently there was a doxing incident where a massive YouTuber doxed another YouTuber. People turn to the platform, turn around going, hey, this is like legal issues. You need to take them off the platform. This isn't okay, you know? But when it's not legal stuff, and the platform and the content creator just does something really fucking stupid, like recently a content creator got invited to the FIFA awards or some footballing awards, and was very annoyed at the fact that somebody won an award when he thinks somebody else should have won an award, so he started barking in the audience. He literally was sat in the audience in a tuxedo amongst all these very well paid, like suited and booted celebrities of the footballing and sporting world, and he was just barking. And it was just like, okay, platforms don't have to worry about that because they're self-employed, you know? How's it going, Conran? How you doing? Ordered Taco Bell for a tasty girl dinner. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Sorry, motherfucking Taylor. I'm meeting and greet tickets. Oh, amazing, Zooty Boo. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it, friend. You know? If I'll make a good Astarian, I'll take it. I will happily take it. So excited for you, Haken, out of my friends who's given them some message bias. Love that. Love that. Good assortment of underwear. Exactly, right? I've got an entire video dedicated to it. Peter would make an amazing game show track. Oh, I have no doubt about it, Safi. I have no doubt about it. I just need to have the money to be able to pay them. Just need to have the cash monies to be able to pay them, you know? Maybe you got an Astarion plush? I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. I hope you enjoy them. You know? I found it amusing that you got hung up on that and not cracked rib. Oh no, Rabbitsborough. Because I would like to think, Rabbitsborough, that you cracking a rib will mean that you will take a moment and actually look after yourself. Because you're a very energetic person. You do a lot of dance and bits and pieces and what have you. I would like to think that you would take that on board and actually, you know, look after yourself. I'm just saying, I'd like to think that would be a happening, you know? You know? Right, okay, let me catch up a wee bit. Hope you don't mind me playing again while I listen to you. Not at all, not at all. Lurking is loving, All-Star Gamer Girl. Lurking is loving. You want to do it? In a little while, we'll be jumping into the deep dive of the Egyptian mythos. Or more specifically, the deep dive of the origins of the Curse of the Pharaohs. Or the Curse of the Mummy, depending on how you want to do it. Do you know what I mean? You got tortilla chips, salsa, and mocha. So it could be worse. Yeah. Sounds great. Sounds wonderful. I had a cheeky little pizza for tea. It was great. Filled my little void of belly, you know. You know. Even when it goes well, it's just paying for the bad months. Yeah. So I think, without going too much into it, because I realize that not everybody will be interested in the industry of content creation, and I will do a full full stream on it. Like I said, I'm gonna do a streamer Q&A thing where people can ask me my opinions on the whole scenario. I think, realistically speaking, it is very, very hard to make a full-time profession out of live streaming specifically, which is the reason why, if you speak to any industry professionals, outside of the people that work for the platforms, the thing that they say is diversify your content. Make sure you're doing stuff on other platforms like TikTok. At the moment, TikTok, my two big ones are TikTok and Twitch. Twitch, stream 3 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I gave up the Thursday streams because I needed more space to be able to do more creative endeavors in long-form content. But TikTok and Twitch are both pretty short-form content. TikTok, technically speaking, is long form, but the way that TikTok works as a platform is far more short attention spans. So I need the space to be able to start making some long form content, which is why I need Thursdays, why I need a little bit of extra space to be able to record some videos and start getting out regular video content on like YouTube and stuff, for example. Because that side of things then takes a turn with, or then frees up a little bit more to be able to do more like live stream content, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of people do a live stream and then put the VOD on YouTube, but realistically speaking, which is what I do that exactly the same thing, because eventually I'll be able to monetize my VODs. But at the moment, that isn't a feasibility. I'm just putting them out there as a library of my VODs. You know, which is the reason why I'm thinking of having like a little chat screen here so that people that watch the VODs can see the chat screen. And if you're watching the VOD and you think that a chat screen here so you could see what chat is saying at the time would be a good idea, please, by all means, put it in the comments. It'll remind me to go back and actually do that and look into it and stuff like that, you know, all the things I need to do. But realistically speaking, the only real way to make it as a content creator is to have enough influence that you can get sponsorships. And the only way to get sponsorships is not only to have enough influence, but also be a trustworthy voice and not be a brand risk. I have enough influence. I got enough followers. I got 80.8 thousand followers on TikTok. That's a fuck ton of followers. However, I'm a sex educator. And that closes 99 out of $100. You know? That closes 99 out of $100.
Yeah, you subscribed. Most kind.
Max, you beautiful bean. Thank you very much for giving that sub to Rowan Rose. Rowan Rose, I will now inscribe your name on the mirror vein. Max, once again, your kindness knows no bounds, you beautiful bean. I've inscribed your name upon the mirror vein, Rowan. By having your name upon the mirror vein, it means you get access to my personal Snapchat, not a bum Snapchat, you cheeky devil. And of course, you get access to all the sexy little emotes. But the most important thing is you go roll over every morning, look in the mirror. Oh, God, I look rough. But God damn, do I make rough look good. Ooh, harra, sexy. Oh, yes, meow. If you want to know the best way that a live streamer can make actual, like, substantial living money off of live streaming, it all comes down to the Partner Plus program, which is in my title, on Twitch at least.
Pander to my ego, pander to it, pander to it.
Oh, we don't have the little Jigglypuff there on Dr. K. Ross, you beautiful bean. I don't know why. I did set it all up, but it's not working for some reason. I still need to look into it. I haven't looked into it yet, but I will look into it. Yeah, the Partner Plus is a new incentive from Twitch. If a Twitch partner can get 350 sub points from paid subscriptions that don't include gifted and or Prime subscriptions for 3 consecutive months, then they will get a 70-30 split on all subscriptions for a year. And as you can see, like in the stream title, I currently have 133 out of 350. So it doesn't include gifted subscriptions. It doesn't include Prime subscriptions. No, unfortunately not, Max Voyage. Unfortunately not. It has to be independent individuals subscribing themselves. I understand it. I do understand it from like a protecting the pot kind of thing, where it's like people are going, yeah, you don't want to like you don't want somebody literally coming in and gifting 350 subs, like some person that has the spare money or what have you to come in, give 350 subs for 3 months in a row to get you that thing, and then they're giving a 70-30 split on for a year on 10 recurring subs for pure example. Do you know what I mean? It's trying to, it's from a business point of view, it's showing sustainability.
Subscribed.
You know,
Most kind.
my darling, my sweet, my exquisite. Boo to you too. That is what we frequently say in the morning. I roll over and say boo, and McSteffels goes, why are you like this? Accurate. 33 months, my darling. 33 months. I should now inscribe your name on the mirror vein. By having your name upon the mirror vein, it means you get access to my personal Snapchat. Not that you need it. You also get access to all those sexy little emotes, including my face. You have a lot of that, to be fair. Let's not lie about it. But the most important thing, darling, the most important thing is you got to roll over every morning, look in the mirror, and go, Valen, get the fuck out the way. I'm trying to look in the mirror. Okay? Ooh, sexy. Ooh, yes, meow. You know? It's true. It's true. Let's not lie about this. I'm the first person that looks in the mirror. And, you know, self-certified tier 7. To be fair, I'm not going to lie to you, McSteffels. I'm pretty sure you have certainly sampled every tier, shall we say. You've sampled every tier. For those people that don't know, McSteffels is my partner, my beautiful, darling partner, who I left this morning, which was very hard. But it's okay. We spent a whole load of time together. We had a great time with... I was actually talking about our time out together with your Kitty Winkle. And next week, McSeffels will be back here for a week, which will be great. You know what I mean? In fact, if you want, I'm sure I can strong arm McSteffels into coming on stream again. We can have a nice chat together. If you fancy it, you know. How's it going, Cut and Run? How you doing? Any new broken white goods we need to make to put your goal on the screen for Valen? Cut and Run, no. I don't want to ask anything for more than... You people have literally paid for a new fucking motherboard. You've paid for a new washing machine. I can't ask for more shit than that. I can't do it. I get just in my own fucking morals. Do you know what I mean? I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm hoping nothing else breaks, touch wood, touching all of the fucking wood. Do you know what I mean? Speaking of salsa, ended up getting an apple salsa from the pumpkin patch when we went on Halloween. Still have yet to try it. An apple salsa. Don't know how I feel about that. I'm not a big fan of salsa anyway, so, you know, that could be the reason why. Do you know what I mean? Unless you have a good agency. Even then, Lolo. Even then. Like, good agencies are great, but... it still comes down to whether you are a brand risk. It comes down to whether people want you as their, like, face. Do you know what I mean? As somebody that represents them. Do you know what? There was a Twitter feed, a little tweet the other day that Curly had put up about not focusing on numbers and stuff like that, and we ended up having a bit of a conversation. But the one of the biggest things for me that has always been about not focusing on numbers, like viewer numbers and shit like that, has always been down to the fact that people with the biggest viewer numbers are the people that are the biggest brand risks. The vast majority of people that have got the most views, not all, but the vast majority of people that have got the most views don't get like sponsorships and stuff like that because of the fact that they are a brand risk and the brand do not want to be associated with that person, you know? Yeah. I know a lot of people that do follow chat on screen. So if I put like a chat up here, yeah, potentially, they're just sort of. I've not played with them before. I was debating because obviously Twitch now have opened the doors to stream on multiple platforms. I was debating doing a multi-stream, which then I would have a struggle with the chat side of things, but I don't know. I need to look into exactly how that works and what the rules and regulations are, because yeah. Saying that, we should probably do a rules and regs stream, because we've done one for all of the other rules and regs that Twitch have brought out. So you know. With chat names on VOD, I only know one creator that didn't do that because of GDPR and the risk that people may want their name removed. Would that matter with usernames though? I suppose there's always a possibility that somebody has used their real name for a username. I think it's a big issue. I know nothing about GDPR in detail. I mean, if it was their real name, then yes, it would cause a problem. But if it was like a username, then I don't think that GDPR would be applicable, because unless they suddenly put out all of their fucking... They like, by the way, this is my PIN number, blah, 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 and she's like, fucking out, right? Yeah, there's a GDPR issue. But yeah, don't know. Jiggly just doesn't like you, Aristolomy. Just doesn't like you. Oh my lordy, Mr. Trilby. Doing a vanity promo, you cheeky devil. Friends! God damn it. Friends! I have many social medias. I'm not going to talk about... I'm going to talk about my YouTube, actually. I'm going to talk about my YouTubes. I have two YouTube channels. One for VODs and one for sex education stuff. The one that is there is the sex education one that's linked there. But if you are at a loose end and you would like to do something for free that supports me as a content creator, then click on the subscribe button on any of those things. Instagram, follow. Twitter, follow. TikTok, follow. YouTube, subscribe, which is technically a follow because you're not actually paying anything. And Facebook, follow. Jesus Christ. All the things. All the bits and pieces. I will openly say that the two main platforms that I am on at the moment are Twitch and TikTok. Those are the two main ones that I am currently on that are doing very, very well. The next one that I'm going to be focusing on and concentrating on is YouTube. That is the next one. So if you're wanting to see more up-to-date content, more regular content, those kinds of things, those are the three you need to be on board. You know, those are the three you need to be following. Whitley Wee, I fucking love your name. Welcome on in. How's it going? Streamers with big numbers are a turn off to me as a viewer. I like small community where you can actually interact with a streamer. I know that channels where streamers only chat with subscribed viewers or chat is so fast that mods answer for you. I prefer direct interaction over following somebody because they are big. Do you know what? I understand that and I completely respect that. However, and there is a however to that, it's hard as a streamer and as somebody who wants to be a successful streamer, because that gives you a lid. That means you have a roof. Do you know what I mean? And I've had people that followed me when I first started streaming. Like when I first started streaming and I was streaming to like average 7 viewers, for example, you know, I literally first started streaming. They followed me. We had really good time, and we had that intimate connection, that one-on-one conversation that was great. And it was great for the time. It was wonderful and spectacular, and I do not undervalue that at all. And now that I have grown to this point where I don't like doing this, but I'll check my viewer numbers. Okay, I got 52 viewers at the moment. I don't like to check my viewer numbers while I'm streaming because it sits in my brain and I think about it and think about it and think about it. But I've got 52 viewers at the moment, and since hitting like a level where I'm averaging 50 viewers, or obviously a little while ago I was averaging much higher in order to get the partner program and stuff, and they didn't like it, and that's okay. That's all right. I am never going to turn around and say that people should or should not like a content creator. You like what you like Woodley Lee said. They prefer somebody where you can have that connection with the streamer. Completely understand that, completely respect that, and will never ever follow, like, I will never fault somebody for thinking, do you know what, Val and Vane stuff is not my cup of tea anymore. I'm gonna go find somebody else and do that go check out their stuff, you know. But for me as a content creator, I want to keep pushing. I want to keep moving forward. I want to keep growing. I want to get further and further and further. There is always going to be a lid for me anyway, because I'm a sex educator. Because I talk about sex. Because I talk about filth wizardry. But yeah, like I've definitely had it where people who do enjoy that intimate connection you get with small streamers, entirely valid, never going to criticize that, have turned around to me because I've grown too big for their liking, and they're like, "Oh, you're such a sellout. You're such a sellout." And it's like, what? Because I'm trying to be successful. Because the community grew to a point where I couldn't give you one-on-one conversation anymore. That's never going to be a thing, you know what I mean? The more it grows, nothing wrong with then turning around and be like, do you know what, I'm out. And do you know what, Widdly Wee, 100% agree with you. No, thank you. Absolutely understand that. My point is, there are big name streamers who promote themselves as safe spaces, here for all whatever, and their only really interested is profit, which is okay, but please be real about it. Oh yeah, do you know what, completely fucking agree with you, friend. Completely fucking agree with you. Be honest about it. Be honest about why you're streaming, and the reason why I stream now is very different to the reason why I started streaming. The reason why I was streaming 2 years ago was very different to when I was streaming, when I first started streaming, where I am streaming now. Very, very different eras of my streaming career, and very different reasoning as to why I do stuff, you know? I started because it was a way of filling my time between performance tours. I then started doing well at streaming, and the pandemic hit, and then it became my life. It became a way of dealing with my fucking mental health, of the isolation of lockdown, and it became a way of being able to pay my fucking bills. Then I hit partner. I was like, oh my fucking god, I am actually a full-time content creator. I can make this my entire fucking career. This can be my thing. Then, as happens to the vast majority of partners, and no criticism by any stretch of the imagination at all, but this is just what the numbers show, people hit partner, and everyone pushes for them to hit partner. They go, oh my god, let's go, let's get them to partner. They hit partner, and then they drop off. And they hit that average 75, 80 viewers for every stream for 3 months, and then they drop off. And they average what I'm averaging now, you know, which is like 50s-ish. And it is that push to make somebody succeed, and then once they've succeeded, you're like, fantastic, you've made it now, I'm going to go help somebody else. And it's like, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. The unfortunately, I wish it did. I wish it did work like that, but it doesn't, by any stretch of the imagination, you know? But I completely agree with what you're saying in the regards that there are definitely content creators who have massive, massive, massive platforms and still market themselves as a safe space. And it's like, how safe can it be when you can't keep on top of the chat, for example? Do you know what I mean? I like to think of this as a safe space for the vast majority of people to be themselves. But yeah, if I started averaging, say, 300 viewers a stream, and my chat was going and going and going and going and going and going again, I was only able to answer one every 10, 20 people's chats, there's no way I'm going to be able to turn around and say this is a dedicated safe space, because I can't guarantee the safety of people. Can't guarantee the safety of people, you know? No worries, One True Cripple. You take it easy. Thanks very much for lurking. I appreciate you. How's it going, Kinetta? How you doing? Tall poppy syndrome? I don't know what that means, Midgarder. How you doing? How's it going? And it is that thing. I understand why people like smaller communities. 100%. 100%. And this is also the reason why the bigger you get as a streamer, the more of a lurker base you get. Because people come in and they're really happy to listen to the... Or more people watch your VODs. Because they come in, they want to support you, they want to listen to the stuff that you're talking about, they want to do the things, but they can't be asked to deal with the flood of chat, you know? You know? It was very hard. That's what she said. Maybe. If you can't talk money, then talk about yourself. We know you love you love that as much. It's true, Mr. Trilby. I do love myself a lot. But I will say that my career has changed a lot over the years. And the moral of this is buy a hot tub. Do you know what? I didn't fault the hot tub streamers at all. They found a loophole and they exploited the fuck out of it. That is on Twitch to fix, not anybody else. You know, I will never fault people for finding loopholes and exploiting the fuck out of them. It's like, not my cup of tea, but you do your thing if that's something you want to do, you know. Rules and regs are important, 100%. Bullet streaming would be fun. The only reason I haven't done it on like TikTok, for example, is because I don't know how I would be able to keep on top of it all. I can barely keep on top of this chat, you know. You know, 50 plus high quality brats, present and accounted for, right, Kindred, right? She's the only way to do it. Doing well, mate. Hope as well as here. Everything is good apart from the fact that McSteffels isn't here. I left McSteffels this morning, so it's all a bit raw at the moment, you know? It's all a bit raw. Not doing great. My cat, baby Lucifer, 16 and a half years old, had to go to cat heaven this afternoon. All right, Kanetta, you take it easy, friend. You take it easy. If we can ease the numbness a little bit, I appreciate that. All right? Just trying to find a distraction. Entirely fair. Entirely fair, friend. And I hope we are able to provide some description of distraction for you, you know? Not just how safe can it be, it's also a turn off to me in general. That's fair. Genuinely happy for people who want to make a career off of Twitch and are actually able to live off of it. I really am. But if you achieved that, you're in for the numbers and for the profit. Just wish people would be honest about it. You have 50k followers, an average of 100 viewers. You are not here to just make friends. I'd agree to a certain point. To a certain point. How's it going, Kit Angel? How you doing? I'd agree to a certain point. But I would vastly question the level of connection you are able to have. You wouldn't be in it to just make friends, no. There would definitely be an industry, like a business side of it. And I've been very, very honest about the fact that there is definitely a business side of it for me. This is my career, you know? And I'd like to think that I'm very honest about it from the get-go. But there is also, I think it's like understanding of dynamics. Because I'm not going to turn around and say you can never make a connection with somebody because I literally met my partner through Twitch. My partner was a viewer. Put a photo of themselves in the Discord, and I went, hello, and dropped them a message. Some of my closest friends I have met through Twitch. You know? So, you know. I'm not going to say that it's not possible, but I am going to say that the dynamic completely changes. The dynamic does completely change because you have to be aware of the trends. You have to be aware of, are you going to be able to pay your bills this month? Which is something that I am actively conscious of every month. Because I'm being completely honest about it, I am not. I'm not going to make it anybody else's problem. That is my issue. That is a me issue. I've definitely known streamers where they've put up like a donation goal to be able to pay their rent and bills and stuff. That's not my cup of tea. If that works for them, great. It's just not my cup of tea, you know? From my point of view, it is my issue whether I'm able to pay my bills or not yours. You know? And I always find a way to do it. I always find a way to sort it all out in the end. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because I don't want anybody to feel guilty or feel pressured or feel obliged in any way, shape, or form, because that's not the kind of person I am. But I'm not going to try and deny the fact that I don't. I don't even remember the last time I managed to pay my bills from Twitch alone. Last year? Yep. Yeah, probably like summer last year. Like July, August last year, maybe. I like this community the most. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I remember joining a bigger streamer who I watched, but they ignored me and only focused on their sub viewers. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm not a... But I get it. Like, if that's the way that they want to do it. Like, each streamer is different and individual and what have you. And I get it. I understand why people may want to pay attention to the people that are actively funding their business. You know? It's not my cup of tea, again. It's not my cup of tea, but, you know, that's up to them. It's the way that they choose to run their own business. I am not going to criticize it, you know? Welcome back, One True Couple. You can keep on top of us whenever you'd like. Oh, my lordy. Oh, how exciting. Woo. That's great. Sounds wonderful. Missing someone sucks them short-term or long-term. Agreed. Agreed. And I'm all right. I'll be all right. I'll be okay. It's the first night is always the roughest. But it'll be all right. Because in a week's time, Mixed Apples is staying for a week. So we'll be good. We'll be good, you know? Like this community. I appreciate that. I like this community as well. I'm a big fan. You know? I would go so far as to say I'm a big fan. I love you for that. The point is, did you make these connections when your community was smaller? And my average 100 viewers is probably too low. Make it 500. I'd say the average 100 viewers. It depends how talkative they are. Do you know what I mean? It depends how, like, what the dynamic of the thing is. Because I've definitely known, like, the kind of atmosphere that you're talking about. I've definitely known people with an average of 100 viewers have that exact atmosphere. And then I've also known people with an average of 500 viewers where the vast majority of people lurk, so they're still able to have that, like, little connection stuff. But, you know. How do you keep up with everyone? How do you make actual connections? You couldn't. And to me personally, that's something I'm not interested in, which is fair. Which is fair, you know. But then I'm also very well aware of the fact that a lot of the content creators that I watch at the moment, I don't have any interest in making that connection with them. I watch them because I find them entertaining. And that's the reason why I watch them. Because I'm interested in the stuff that they talk about. I'm interested in the games that they play. I'm interested in the shows that they put on. It's not, for me, it's more about the entertainment side of things. I watch Twitch like I watch YouTube or like I watch TV. It's the entertainment side of thing for me. You know? But that's my connection as a viewer to a content creator. Friends, in a minute's time there will be 2 minutes time there will be an advert. How's it going, Rilu? How you doing? Hope you're doing well as you can be today. Not doing too badly, to be honest with you. Not doing too badly. I'm still a happy-go-lucky scamp of an individual. You know, how are you doing? Great to hear you're doing very well. You're a golden needle in the hay bale, as we say in Dutch. As the others here in chat. Aw, you beautiful being. I appreciate that. Depends on how fast chat is going. Yeah, 100%. It is, and you know what? I have made an effort to try and make sure that I go through chat and read fucking everything. But there's definitely times where I'm like, right, friends, I'm going to have to scroll down because I'm 20 minutes behind in chat, you know? So I'm like, I'm going to skip down a whole load. If there's anything vitally important, repeat it. If it's not vitally important, we'll skip over it and we'll move on to the next thing, you know? But I can only do that in my Just Chatting streams, you know? Sleepy Bean today, but hopefully all right. We're doing well too. Interesting. I don't just watch people. I always try and chat. That's fair. As evidenced by this chat right now. I appreciate that. I appreciate you coming out of the woodworks and saying hello. I always do. Lurking is loving. Chatting is glorious as well, you know? Blue Fire, how you doing? How's it going? Cut and run. It's full. Look, it's full. You don't have to worry about it. You cheeky little devil, you. Friends, in 30 seconds time, there will be a 3-minute advert. I'm going to use this opportunity to get up and go and visit the urination station. Then when we get back, we are going to jump into the curse of the Pharaohs. All right? That's all right, Aristolomy. I'm going to go jump up, grab some kind of snaffly treat, go visit the urination station while this 3-minute advert runs. And then we will come back and we will do the Egyptian stuff, all right? So get up, have a stretch your eyes, look something in the distance, and look back again. Grab some kind of beverage, hot, cold, or if the time is permitting, flamboyant as fuck. Don't forget to take your meds if you haven't done it already. Take them now.
Subscribed. Most kind.
I will do those as soon as I get back. Cut and run, you cheeky devil. And if you're wearing a binder, have a couple of deep breaths. Stretch those lungs out. Stretch those rib cages out. I'll be back momentarily. I'm going to do them as soon as I get back because I really need to pee. Cut and run. But thank you very much for those 5 gifted subs, you beautiful bean. I really appreciate you, beautiful bean. I appreciate you. God damn it. Right, friends, don't go anywhere. I'm back momentarily. I'm back in a minute. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but it says I had one ad timer telling me that it was in the middle of like 50 seconds left, and another one that said it was in 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. And now it's telling me that I have my next ad set start in 2 hours time, which I'm very confused by because you're not allowed to run 6 minutes of ads together. So I don't know how that is. I don't know what the fuck is going on there, friends. I don't know what the fuck is going on there, but let's turn the music down. And then I will also grab this wonderful mirror. Run! Trying to do this while I was away, but you didn't because I dawdled, didn't I? I'll now grab those wonderful individuals on the mirror vein. The second one, the third one. The fourth one. And the fifth one. Your names are now inscribed on the mirror vein, which means you get access to my personal Snapchat. Not a bum Snapchat, you cheeky devil. And of course you get access to all the sexy little emotes. But the most important thing is you go roll over every morning, look in the mirror, and go, God, I look rough. But goddamn, do I make rough look good? Ooh, harra, sexy. Oh, yes, meow. You know? Thank you very much, Cut and Run, you beautiful bean. Friends, if you've been gifted a sub by Cut and Run, please say a massive thank you to that wonderful bean. I appreciate that. How's it going, Big Gay Bear? Hello, you glorious bean. Jam Jar. Oh, my lord, he's swanning in. Look at you, cheeky devil. You got the same ads twice. I've definitely seen that Twitch have got a limited amount of advertising on at the moment in certain areas of the world. And therefore, it's sort of like there's been a lot of repeats. I've seen a fair few repeats myself, you know. Trying to slowly get back to some spoons. Been having a stressful few months. 2023 has been a fucking exhausting time, Blue Fire. How are you doing? Welcome back on in. Twitch do be twitchy things. Twitch be doing twitchy things. Yeah, go Twitch. But now, friends, now we are going to we're going to talk about the Egyptian mummies. The mummies of Egypt. For today, we are doing Mythical Mondays. Mythical Mondays started in October. We were going to be doing every Monday of October a different monster from, or the origins of a different monster from the mythos of classic sort of Halloween monsters and stuff like that. We started with vampires, and the plan was to do vampires, zombies, vampires, witches, werewolves, zombies, and then the Mummy's curse. However, due to my computer being cursed and blowing up, it meant that I was not able to do witches or werewolves, and then we did zombies, and then we were meant to do the Mummy's curse last Monday, but then we got distracted talking about all kinds of bizarre and peculiar and wonderful things. So instead, we've done vampires, we've done zombies. Today we're going to do the Mummy's curse. Then we're going to do, next Monday, we're going to do witches, and then we're going to finish with werewolves on the following Monday. And then in December, we decided that we were going to make this a monthly thing where once a month from this point onwards until next Halloween, we will do the origins of a specific myth. In December, we are obviously going to be looking at Krampus and the origins of Krampus. And then we'll worry about January, you know?
Pander to my ego, pander to it, pander to it!
Insert TARDIS noises here.
Wow, wow, meow, meow, meow. That's the puns, Valen puns. Perdis. Meow. It's also made of cardboard and Doctor, you know. Anyway, swiftly moving on. Swiftly moving on. Right, I need to pull up my little checklist of what we're actually talking about. So, friends, we are going to be talking about various different bits and pieces. I'll put that over here. We're going to talk about various different bits and pieces to do with the Curse of the Mummy. So what we're doing on Mythical Mondays is we're taking a myth, a classic horror myth, and investigating the origins of that myth. So we are, like, when we took vampires, we found out that the original vampire myth was a wraith-like creature, a ghostly creature that would raise from the grave to absorb the life essence of the surrounding villagers. And it was only in the 17th century, with the rise of science across Europe, that became a blood-drinking corpse. With zombies, we found out that they were... With zombies, we found out that was a lot of it came originally down to the voodoo myths. And the practices of voodoo, the practice of zombification, where a voodoo boko, as I am led to believe it is pronounced, which is a witch doctor who practices black magics, not necessarily evil magics, but black magics, that they conditioned a body in life, got it buried, and raised it from the dead in order to become a servant to that priest. And it was only with the invention of film, Night of the Living Dead, did zombies actually start eating people. They were never cannibalistic in nature until Night of the Living Dead made them that way. And that was the first time that zombies became flesh-eating creatures, which I thought was fascinating. And today we're going to be looking at the Curse of the Mummy. So many of you will already be aware, the Mummies, classic bisexual awakening that was the Mummy movie, obviously made it very, very popular. However, Egyptology, and more specifically ancient Egypt, has gone through phases of popularity throughout the ages, you know, and very specifically where the curse of the mummy comes from. The idea that by breaking into the tomb of a pharaoh or a royal priest or something like that can curse you as a person to become murderized or become death by something and what have you. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. Now, when I briefly looked over what we needed to cover last week, when I was like, oh, we can still do this, and I was like, no, we definitely can't. It was a lot. There's a lot of stuff to do it. So what I've done is I've like wound that back down a
Pander to my
little bit.
ego. Pander to it. Pander to it.
The end of the 20th century saw the revival of interest in the romantic mummy archetype, starting with the 1989 novel The Mummy, or Ramses the Damned by Anne Rice, which involved a sexual relationship between a benevolent male mummy and a female archaeologist. The trend intensified throughout the late 1990s. Can mummies be daddies? Discuss another day.
We will discuss another day. First of all, thank you very much for the 100 little panderings, Jam Jar Brain. Yeah, the idea of the mummies being romantic is definitely an interesting concept. But then there has been this fascination, especially with like the old monsters, of them being romantic interests. Because when you think about it, mummies, zombies, Frankenstein's monster, vampires, wraiths, ghosts, they're all dead. This is like the romanticizing nature of necrophilia. But we can talk about that another day. Because today we're talking about the curse of the mummy. Very specifically, the curse of the mummy. Now, for those people that might not know, mummification is a process that a body goes through. It is very usually talked about when it comes to the ritualistic practices of an ancient culture's death rituals, where they would prepare a body to be preserved for some description of afterlife. It can be done naturally. You may find it in like National Geographic and stuff like that, where they talk about a mummified body, which is where something has been like mummified by the natural elements. But mummification is, as I understand it, a very specific it's very specifically to do with the burial rites of ancient cultures, where they prepare their dead, and that leads to the mummification. In regards to ancient Egypt, the process started with preserving the body to be ready for afterlife, like anointing the body and the ritualistic practices. Then it moved on to removing the internal organs, and it moved further and further into the dynamics of burying a king with all of their riches, burying a person with all of their riches, so that they had something to go on into the afterlife with. You were a little obsessed with Egyptians when you were little. Yeah, I was about to say, Eris Ptolemy has been educating me, sending me all of the links for bits and pieces, however, you know. However, in regards to the mummy's curse, specifically, as in the curse bound within the mummification, it became very, very popular with the discovery of King Tutankhamun's tomb in the Valley of the Kings near Luxor in Egypt in the 1920s. I did have this. 16th of February 1923. There we go. Done. You know? So it was the 16th of February 1923 where the world once again got extremely fascinated by archaeology. It happens every so often. Usually some kind of giant big find happens, and then the world goes, oh my god, this is amazing. But what it was basically the UK being grave robbers, as they are known to do across all cultures, you know. However, when I looked into the King Tutankhamun thing, was very, very interesting, because when they actually so bit of a sideline, bit of trivia for you. Not near Luxor in Vegas. No, definitely different one there. How's it going, Bronze Zampusa? How you doing? The Impusa was a shape-shifting spirit from Grover. Oh, cool. Oh, Bronze Zampusa, I appreciate that very, very much. However, if I start reading that now, I'm gonna get confused on what I'm doing. So I'm gonna quickly move back to the mummies for a second, because otherwise I'll get sidelined, as I am known to do. All right. bit of a side bit of trivia in regards to the Tutankhamun thing, which I thought was really, really interesting, was so Tutankhamun's tomb was the reason why it was so popular. It was because it was one of the few untouched tombs where all of the riches were seen to still be inside of the tomb itself, which was nigh on unheard of, because grave robbing, especially of the Egyptians, because of the riches and stuff that they were buried with, there was a lot of it that happened throughout the entirety of history from the ancient Egyptian times through on. The reason why King Tutankhamun's was so big was because it was supposedly untouched. It was supposedly like it had never been looted, it had never been pilfered, it had never, like, nothing had happened to it. It was excavated by Howard Carter, who was an archaeologist. However, it was an expedition that was sponsored by Lord Carnarvon. What I found we'll get onto those people in a minute, because they have very strict ties within the history of the Mummy's Curse. But we'll get onto those people in a minute, all right? The thing that I did find particularly interesting, though, was because this was 1923 originally, which was right in the middle of, well, right towards the end of Britain going around colonizing and taking stuff for the British Museum. You know, basically going around and pilfering cultures for the sake of pilfering cultures, because that's what Britain did in the Empire days, you know? But the thing that I found particularly interesting about the Tutankhamun scenario was I was expecting it to be a situation where, because it was a British archaeologist and it was a British lord that had sponsored them, that they were going to take everything for the British Museum. However, it turns out that when Tutankhamun's, or from what I've read, when Tutankhamun's tomb was excavated and all that, or what have you, originally Lord Carnarvon was like, cool, I'm going to take it all back with me. And the Egyptian authorities were like, no, you're not. That belongs to Egypt. And there was, and apparently, there was a whole thing where Lord Carnarvon was like, oh, no, actually, to be fair, that makes sense. But I do want to make my money back because I've spent an awful lot of money having this excavation done, which is where we get into some of the further stuff, all right? Because there's a whole load of shit. There's a whole load of shit that goes on with this. And it basically comes down to a lot of the hype around the Mummy's Curse comes down to pissy journalists, which I think is fucking hilarious. Absolutely fucking hilarious, okay? So King Tutankhamun's excavation came about, and the reason why the Mummy's Curse happened, or the reason why the Mummy's Curse was definitely associated with King Tutankhamun's tomb excavation, was because it was only 5 to 6 weeks after the excavation when Lord Carnarvon, who was the sponsor, who was there when they opened the actual tomb itself, died of blood poisoning. And that is essentially where we get the modern understanding of the curse of the pharaohs. The idea you break into a pharaoh's tomb, you get cursed. Okay? However, naturally, that is not all there is to it. Let me just quickly catch up with what I was thingy. The actual original curses and stuff like that were originally used by the important people of Egypt on their tombs as a source of, like, a security measure. They were used as a security measure. So basically in the 1820s, I think it was like 1823, 1824, if I remember off the top of my head, that's when the Rosetta Stone, and I'm not talking about the new digital thing where you learn different languages. The original Rosetta Stone that had the same paragraph in 3 different languages, Sumerian, Egyptian, and the Rosetta Stone. What were the 3? In fact, you know what? I can pull it up so that you can all see what the Rosetta Stone looked like. So you can all see what the Rosetta Stone looked like. So this was the Rosetta Stone, which has the same... Was it Arabic? Oh, no, it wasn't. So it was the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, Demotic script, and Greek. Ancient Greek script. Created in 196 BC, and it was discovered in 1799. Through this tablet is basically this tablet, this understanding, this entire scenario is effectively why we can understand what hieroglyphics even say. Because in the 1820s, a scholar sat down and translated it and worked out what it all was. And it was because of that in the 1820s, so what, 200 years ago now? It was because of that that Britain in particular, and parts of Europe and what have you, suddenly had an interest in excavating ancient Egyptian tombs. Because we were breaking into the empire area, breaking into the colonization where we were going and taking God knows what from God knows where, as if it was our own. And suddenly, it was like, cool, we can now read what it says on the sides of all of these tombs. We can read what it says on the sides of, like, the corridors of the pyramids. And as a result, the schools of archaeology from across Europe, very specifically from across Britain, suddenly gained an interest. And they were like, cool, let's send people. Let us, lords and ladies of the of Victorian Britain, suddenly started sending people, spending lots of money to be the person that had the honor of the honor of grave robbing. I mean, excavating a tomb. Excavating a tomb, you know? Which in itself is like the fact that somebody actually sat down and will work that all out is pretty fucking cool in and of itself. And it's through those, like through the understandings of hieroglyphics and the research of understanding and working out what hieroglyphics actually meant, because of there's a whole thing about the downfall of the ancient Egyptians as to why that all got lost, but I'm not going to go into that now. Because of that, we could start understanding what hieroglyphics actually fucking meant, and that's when they have first discovered the tombs themselves that had threats on them, which basically was a very shit scare tactic. Exactly, double dot. It is a very shit scare tactic into, don't rob this tomb, bad shit will happen to you. A lot of it was like, you will get divine retribution from the gods. Great excavating robbery, yeah, thereabouts, you know. A lot of it was, yeah, don't desecrate this tomb, otherwise the gods will fuck you up. Or like death by crocodiles, death by lions, death by scorpions or snakes were the common recurring ones. That may the crocodiles find you was one interpretation that I read, and I was like, fucking hell, that is savage. That is savage. May the crocodiles find you. And obviously, based on how, when the British, okay, I'm not going to say when the British, I'm going to say when the tomb excavations started being documented, we found, we as in the human race, not just necessarily the British people, we found that there was an awful lot of the graves that had already been pilfered. They had already been pilfered. They had already been robbed clean, because these people got buried with all of their riches. They got buried with their cats. They got buried with their pets. They got buried with some. There was an entire king who took their entire court with them. Literally mummified the entire court. Because the ancient Egyptian belief was that you take everything with you from this life onto the next. In fact, in the old kingdoms, it was the common practice to take your entire court with you. So when the pharaoh died, they would kill the entire court, all of the advisors, all of the royal viziers, all of the dancers, all of the guards, all of the high priests. They would kill them all and bury them with the pharaoh, so that the pharaoh could go on to the next life with their entire court. Understandably, it didn't take long to realize the error of this and how this was possibly a very big problem in regards to continuing a stability of one of the first ever state nations. In fact, I think it is currently on record, the first ever state nation was ancient Egypt, okay? So that's part and parcel of all of that shit, all right? But as a result, because these pharaohs took so much with them in regards to riches, in regards to food, they would take entire banquets of food with them. They would take riches, they would take guards, they would take weapons, they would take thrones and gold and mummified cats and all of this other stuff, you know? They would take so much with them that grave robbing was commonplace. All right, the courtiers soon realized that they didn't want to be killed. I don't necessarily think, you've got to remember that the pharaohs were seen as gods themselves, so I don't necessarily think that the courtiers had much of an opinion. I think it was probably, and I can't guarantee this, my research didn't dig that deep, but I could imagine that probably what happened was some young pharaoh to be was like, oh fuck, when they die, I am gonna be left with fucking nothing. My friends are all fucking idiots. I can't have that if I'm gonna be running an entire country. I'm gonna try and convince the current pharaoh to not take their entire court with them. I'm gonna convince them that they'd be better off with the gods as aspects, you know, as advisors, as opposed to these people who actually know how to run the country. You know, that's what I think. I assume. Do you know what I mean? Apparently the honey is still good. Yeah. They've taken honey from the tombs, and apparently it's fine. But I'm not surprised with the amount of sugar content that's in there. You know, how's it going, Jade Dragon? How you doing? So yeah, so with that, graves were often robbed, and as a result, you can see how very little the ancient people, whether in fact between the ancient times when tombs were put to rest and the modern day times, you can fully understand how a bit of writing on a wall that might not even have been understood saying, I hope that the crocodiles find you, might not have been a dissuading tactic when somebody was starving, hungry, or just desperate for coin. You know? Honey by law has to have a sell by. All food products by law have to have a sell by date product. But honey is, depending on the type of honey, depending on the type of bees, there's a whole thing where honey is basically an imperishable food because you can just heat it up and it'll become runny again, and the sugar content and all that jazz. But anyway, but yeah, by law, legally, especially in this country, all foodstuffs have to have a sell by date, or a use by date. You know, best before, I believe, is the other term that is officially used. But anyway, yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, so that's where the original ideas of curses regards to ancient Egyptian mummies came from. They were written on the tombs, gateways and stuff. Do not pilfer this tomb, or the gods of the old Egyptian religion will find you and punish you. nobody really took it too seriously. Nobody really took it too seriously until until King Tutankhamun's situation, where Howard Carter found King Tutankhamun's thing, and it's a really interesting tale in regards to the way that politics works, which I find very, very fascinating. So in 1923, Carter found King Tutankhamun's tomb and was pretty sure it was untouched. So he wrote to his sponsor in England, Lord Carnarvon, and was like, hey, we have found it. We have found an untouched tomb. There will be riches galore. This will be an item of status like you've never had understood. This is wild. I'm going to excavate it. I'm going to get in there and find all the bits and pieces. But he wasn't allowed until Carnarvon arrived. So he literally had to wait, I think it was like 4 weeks or something like that, between finding the tomb and Lord Carnarvon traveling from the United Kingdom to Egypt in order to be there. It was Lord Carnarvon and his daughter in order to be there specifically for the opening of the tomb itself. Naturally, this became very newsworthy. And suddenly, archaeology was shot into the realms of the public eye, and everyone was fascinated by it. Egyptology became a super popular subject. Everyone in the United Kingdom wanted something to do with Egypt. Oh my god, this is a wild. Can you imagine an Egyptian tomb that's never been touched? And within a week, from what I've read, within a week, hordes of the British paparazzi, or the equivalent of it in the 1920s, was swarming the dig sites. There were uncharted and unofficial tours going on where the Egyptian people were like, cool, we're going to get in on this, and they were giving unofficial tours around grave sites, which naturally messed everything up. It messed everything up. It tampered with everything that was going on. Obviously, archaeology wasn't a perfect science back then anyway. It's not perfect science now, but it was in its very infancy in the 1920s. It was taking its baby steps. And all of these people come marching through being like, oh, this is cool. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, I like this stuff. Oh, quick, you take a photo with me. We're going to take some. What do you say about these things? The paparazzi went wild. They completely fucked everything up. All of the archaeologists were getting pissed off because these people were just trampling all over the site for the latest scoop. And it became a scene of absolute chaos. It was at this point where Carnarvon was there. There was a point where Carter apparently looked through a little hole that they made into the tomb itself, put a candle through in order to see whether they could see anything, and Lord Carnarvon said, what can you see? And Carter was like, riches galore. You can see all of the gold, glittering gold. And that's when what I was mentioned earlier about the Lord Carnarvon saying, cool, I've got all of this gold. This is amazing. I sponsored this expedition. This is all mine. And the Egyptian people, the Egyptian government went, no, this is part of the this is the Egyptian people. You know, this is part of our heritage. This is part of our history. You can't take this away from us. And according to all reports, at least publicly, Lord Carnarvon was like, I'm not happy about it, but I understand it. I get where you're coming from. Fair enough. I'll accept this. But like I said, he was keen to make sure that it wasn't a wasted trip. He was keen to be 100% sure that it wasn't going to be a complete fuck up, and that he was actually going to get some of his well spent money back. So what Lord Carnarvon did before he died, was he sold, let me just get all the details. He sold exclusive rights.
It's a raid. Flee,
Oh my lordy.
Flee!
Well, we'll talk about that in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, and all genders outside and in between, delve deep into your pits of popcorn and throw them at the raiders, throw them at these cheeky devils. Look at these people coming in here. I mean, really, could you even imagine? Who do you think they are? Oh my lordy. How's it going, Pixie Bomb? How you doing? Thank you very much for coming in here, you beautiful bean. Welcome on in, welcome on in. I'll give you a cheeky little shout out there. What were you doing today, you glorious bean? Is that Baldur's Gate? Excuse me. Baldur's Gate 3? You doing some Baldur's Gate 3? I can't even decipher it on my own tiny little screen. Pixie Bomb, you glorious bean. Thank you very much for bringing your people over here. I appreciate it. How was your Baldur's Gate 3? Tell me all about it. Tell me all the bits and pieces. Tell me what's been going on. What kind of playthrough you're having. I know there's various different playthroughs. Don't give me too many details, but just tell me how you're doing. How you're enjoying it. Friends, if you're new here, 2 things you need to know about this channel. 1, you're not allowed to apologize. Faux pas, individuals, faux pas. Instead of saying sorry, try saying thank you. Instead of saying sorry, I'm late, say thanks for waiting. Instead of saying sorry, I'm such a burden, say thanks for being there for me. It'll make you a much more positive individual. 2, if you're under the age of 18, I have to ask you to leave. I've got to ask you to leave, for I am a colossal filth wizard, and only corrupting the ears of the young. Friends of ours, if you don't know Pixie Bomb, where the fuck have you been? Pixie Bomb's a wonderful, wonderful being. We love them very, very dearly. Very good at crocheting. Plays all kinds of bits and pieces and different games, depending on what's taking their fancy. Does do crocheting with other members of the community as well, you know?
Most kind.
You know? Oh, my lordy. Omega Wibble. What a fucking great name. What a great name, you glorious being. I will now inscribe your name upon the mirror vein. Thank you very much for choosing to use your Prime Gaming here. I appreciate that. If you are lurking, please don't feel like you have to come out or lurk. Oh, you aren't lurking. You said, hi, how's it going? How you doing? Welcome on in. By having your name upon the mirror vein means you get access to my personal Snapchat. Not a bum Snapchat, you cheeky devil. And of course, you get access to all the sexy little emotes. But the most important thing is you got to roll over every morning, look in the mirror, and go, God, I look rough. But god damn, do I make rough look good. Ooh, sexy. Oh, yes, meow, you know? Tiefling bard with a major cheeky streak. I love that. I love that. I feel like I would have to be playing the Filth Wizard if I ever play Baldur's Gate online. Do you know what I mean? If I ever played Baldur's Gate on stream, I will have to play the Filth Wizard, won't I? I don't even like magic, but I would have to play the Filth Wizard. You know? How's it going, Blue Moon? How you doing? Been seeing your TikToks, but I haven't been able to catch your streams. Nice to see you. How's it going? How you doing? What are we doing today? Good question, friend. We are deep diving the origin stories of the Mummies curse. So throughout Halloween, every Monday in October, we were meant to be going in and talking about a different origin of the classic horror tropes: vampires, zombies, werewolves, witches, and the Mummies curse. And that's what we're talking about today. And quick TLDR on everything that's been going down. We have talked about King Tutankhamun's excavation and how that really incited a lot of the modern day understanding of the curse, the Pharaoh's curse, or the curse of the Pharaoh. I'm just about to talk about why it got so wild. We did talk about the fact that there was curses written on the tombs themselves. It was stuff like, may you be found by the crocodiles, may you be stung by 1,000 scorpions, may the gods curse you for defiling this tomb, that kind of thing. But with the amount of tombs that were robbed prior to archaeology, that it's obvious that none of them were particularly dissuasive. But on the other side of things, it's also possible that they were robbed when people couldn't read hieroglyphics. The hieroglyphics were a lost language until the 1820s, where the Rosetta Stone was actually deciphered. You know, we've done a lot of education side of things. You know, playing a lot of Phasmo with some members of the community too. Oh, that's amazing news! I'm really glad to hear that. Did your asshole go 5p 10p 5p 10p 5p 10p, or were you just flirting with ghosts? Were you just flirting with ghosts? You know. So yeah. So we've talked about the origins of the curses themselves and how it was down to the Egyptian gods to curse anyone that defiled the tombs. We've talked about the fact that Egyptian pharaohs took everything with them, and therefore tombs were a great source of intrigue. They were a great source of temptation for sticky fingers, shall we say? Temptation for sticky fingers. And I don't mean that in the lewd way, which is surprising because it's me. And how they were basically, the grave robbers took almost all things. We've just been talking about how when King Tutankhamun's tomb was being excavated, the press, the British press came over and basically were fucking everything up. They were fucking everything up because they were coming in and they were walking all over the archaeology site. They were picking stuff up and taking it. They were like half-inching stuff themselves. They were making an absolute fucking mess of the entire archaeology site because they didn't give a fuck. All they cared about was the big scoop, you know? When they broke into the tomb itself and like were looking at all the stuff, the sponsor, so it was Howard Carter that actually found the tomb, and the sponsor was Lord Carnarvon. Lord Carnarvon themselves was like, cool, look at all these wonderful riches we've got. And the Egyptian government were like, yeah, no, that's ours. You can't have that. Which is the end of the it was like the end of the colonization period before like the empire was dissolved. The British Empire was dissolved. So I'm surprised that happened. But apparently, according to all publications, Lord Carnarvon was like, oh no, that makes sense. To be fair, this is part of your heritage, this is part of your history, but I want to be able to at least make the money that I have lost in excavating, like sending an archaeologist out to excavate, you know. How's it going, Red Madman? How you doing? Phasmo so cool, love playing it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Never go 5p 10p. Life with generalized anxiety will do that. Lou on the other hand, I like it. You're making unicorn mom poop one's pants. Is that what's going on? That was happening. So yeah, we were just about to talk about why the curse of the mummy got so wild. Okay? Got so wild. I've got bullet points, so I'm following bullet points this time. So the reason why it spiraled very, very quickly out of control was because, like I said, Lord Carnarvon was like, cool, the Egyptian people, you can keep these treasures. I believe they are still in the Cairo Museum, or they might be on tour, I'm not entirely sure, but I believe they were still in the Cairo Museum, or were for a very, very long time. However, Lord Carnarvon wanted to make back the money that he had spent sending Howard Carter out to excavate.
Yeah, you subscribed. Most kind.
How's it going, Danny Chaos? Hello, you beautiful bean. Sending Howard Carter out to excavate the thingies, you know, to excavate the Egyptian tombs. It's Danny Chaos. I should now inscribe a name on the mirror vein. By having your name on the mirror vein, it means you get access to my personal Snapchat, not a bum Snapchat, you cheeky devil. And of course, you get access to all the sexy little emotes. But the most important thing is you got to roll over every morning, look in the mirror. Oh God, I look rough. But goddamn, do I make rough look good? Ooh, sexy. Oh yes, meow. You know, definitely got to appease the spirits. Well, that is where it all gets a bit more interesting. You see, so effectively, the way that Lord Carnarvon worked out that he could make his money back that he had actively like thrown out into this excavation. You have one important side note. Wall of text. Okay, hold on. Good, thank you. How are you? Doing very, very well, Danny. Honestly, I don't know if it was touched on because I ended up on a phone call. What was included in those tombs were of massive importance to how the pharaoh would spend their afterlife. If a tomb mummy was desecrated, that meant that their afterlife was ruined as well. Because of this, that Tut's father and mummies are destroyed. Because they were heretics and didn't deserve to be in the Duat. Okay. I mean, that's an interesting bit of Egyptology in regards to the way that the thing is. But that is interesting. So if a tomb was desecrated, anything that was taken from the tomb itself was taken from the occupant in the afterlife. Is that what you're telling me? So because King Tut's parents were heretics, their tombs were actively desecrated in order to prevent them from having riches in the afterlife. Oh, that is interesting. Which is, I suppose, one of the reasons why they were so protective over their tombs and what have you. How's it going, Jack Little? How you doing, you beautiful bean? So yeah, so that is important. That is important in regards to understanding the reason why there was so much emphasis put on that. Because, like we said, King Tut's tomb was pretty much the first, and Eris Ptolemy, you'll be able to correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was like the first untouched tomb, like the first tomb that actually had like decent historical value of like understanding the ancient world of Egypt. Ms. Ellis, how you doing? Welcome on in. Welcome on in. How you doing? Good morning. Morning. How you doing? How's it going? So yeah, so Lord Carnarvon wants to make his money back. The way that he decided to make his money back was by giving exclusive rights to the press coverage.
Yeah, you subscribed.
Oh my lordy.
Kind.
I rise from the tomb.
Your rise from the tomb. That's right. I was just trying to find the. I was trying to find the exact people he sold it to. There you go. It's perfect there. Niburin, I shall now inscribe your name upon the mirror of vein in the black tier 2 ink. By having your name upon the mirror of vein, it means you get access to my personal Snapchat, not a bum Snapchat, that's tier 4. And of course, you get access to all the sexy little emotes, including the tier 2 Pokemons emotes. But the most important thing as a tier 2 subscriber, you need to roll over every morning, look in the mirror. God, I wish I was someone else. Just so I could look at me. Ooh, sexy. Ooh, yes, meow. You know? You know? You are correct. It was the one that had the most relics, etc., that helps modern-day Egyptologists understand the importance of the untouched. It wasn't exactly untouched, but it was the most intact. Thank you very much. Let's not forget that if a mummy wasn't intact 100%, they couldn't get into the golden fields of Osiris. Hence, a lot of mummies had wooden or clay body parts. Oh, that's interesting. I had no idea about any of that stuff. How's it going, Sazzle? How you doing? Popping by after a lengthy shift. Want to say hi? I appreciate you. Welcome on in. Okay, right. Back to the Egyptian curse itself, and more specifically, the modern understanding of the Egyptian curse. Because as we discussed, the Egyptian tombs had many a curse on them. They had many curses on them in and of themselves. However, the modern understanding of desecrating of a tomb leading to a curse is something completely different, okay? And it starts with Lord Carnarvon, who, like I said, was gutted was happy that the Egyptian people was like, yeah, I'm going to take, we're going to keep this for us because it's part of our heritage. He was like, yeah, it's not a problem, but I need my money back. I need my money back for sending out these British archaeologists to actually excavate all this stuff. So what he ended up doing is he sold the rights, exclusive rights to coverage of the tomb to the London Times for 5,000 English pounds sterling up front and 75% of the profits of worldwide sales on their article to other outlets. So he sold the rights to a single news publication, which infuriated loads of the other loads of the other press things. So all of these press companies had sent out all of their reporters out to Egypt to get the scoop on the big King Tut excavation. And Lord Carnarvon was like, yeah, none of my people are going to speak to any of them apart from the London Times. We are not going to allow any photographers by apart from the London Times. We are not going to allow any exclusive interviews apart from the London Times, which caused a fucking uproar. But from what I have read, it was actually a massive relief to the actual archaeologists, because these press reporters, by doing that, they meant that the only press reporters that were allowed anywhere near the area were the London Times, which meant there weren't press people fucking walking all over and destroying bits of archaeology. They weren't fucking up stuff. They weren't stealing stuff and what have you. It was all done in the hands of the Times. That naturally pissed off all of the press, and that's where the curse side of things gets particularly interesting, because let me just remind myself, a lot of them remained in Egypt hoping to get the scoop on something else to do with Egypt, somehow trying to find an angle to get in on the event without going up head to head with the London Times, who were obviously a very, very powerful press corporation in the 1920s and what have you. And then Lord Carnarvon died. Lord Carnarvon died on the 5th of April 1923, less than 6 months after the tomb was opened. And as a result of him dying in Egypt, less than 6 months after the tomb was opened, the Mummy's Curse was born. That was where the press went fucking wild. They were just like, oh my God, there is a curse because you defiled the tomb. Now, I have seen, excuse me while I itch my nose. I have seen two different reports. One that said that Lord Carnarvon died of blood poisoning. Well, I've seen one that has, but they're both basically the same thing. Effectively, what happened was Lord Carnarvon was bitten by an insect in Egypt. Then when he was shaving, he shaved over the bite. The bite got infected and gave Lord Carnarvon blood poisoning. Lord Carnarvon died less than 6 months after the excavation of the tomb. And as a result, there is chaos. Nothing but chaos. They can't report on the excavation of the King Tutankhamun themselves, but they can report on how there is a curse on the tomb. Okay, so that's where it all started. Now, I believe there was 16 people that were part of the original excavation team that actually penetrated Tutankhamun's actual chambers. And of those 16 people, only 6 of them died in the next 10 years. But they still see it. Like, it was too late by that point. It was too late by that point. The news was out. It was already thrown out all over the place that there was a curse of the mummy and what have you. Let me just double check some of this stuff that I have. I thought I'd flagged, but apparently it's all reset itself. God damn it, how annoying. Yeah, so he was bitten by a mosquito. Next day, he cut open the bite shaving, developed a severe infection. Then he contracted pneumonia, and I believe the ruling of death was blood poisoning, but he also had pneumonia as well. And he died on the 5th of April, 1923. Now, the death of Carnarvon, the death of Lord Carnarvon, naturally triggered a spate of new stories about the curse of the Pharaohs. About how, because that was the only angle that a lot of these reporters could actually get in on. That was the only angle. They were like, we can't go up against the London Times about this, but we can talk about the fact that the tomb is like cursed and what have you. Because they were desperate for a scoop, and that's where the legend grew. Other stories of mysterious events supposedly related to the curse appeared to spread. Any death connected with Egypt or its antiquities in any way, even from before the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb, was said to be a result of the curse. And the Egyptians themselves also believed in the curse. The ancient Egyptians often inscribed threatening curse. Yeah, so we talked about that. Was the curse warned people not to damage the sacred monuments. We will talk about a little bit about two other things that I want to talk about today, but there was something I really wanted to talk about in this specific thing. Carter himself actually lived for another 17 years after the discovery. He died at the age of 64 in his home in England. Carnarvon's daughter, who was one of the first people to actually enter the tomb itself, lived for another 58 years, dying at 79. But there was some other stuff. I can't remember where it is now, but there was some other stuff about how... Oh, yeah, there we go. King Tutankhamun's curse. We know that Carnarvon was responsible for the existence of the Tutankhamun's curse for two reasons. One, he gave exclusive permission to the London Times to publish everything about the tomb, making the rest of the press unhappy because they could not write anything about the tomb. And the second reason was his sudden death 3 months after the discovery while shaving, as he was bitten by an insect and died. His death opened the doors to many false stories. There were stories about him being bitten by a cobra. There were stories about how in the lead up to his death, the lights of his hotel flickered on and off. Even though in the 1920s, the electrical systems of the local hotels in Cairo weren't exactly great. I mean, electrical systems in the 1920s weren't great anyway, but specifically in Egypt there at that time. And there was also a rumor that his dog died at the same time as its master. So Carnarvon's dog died at the same time that Carnarvon died, but the dog was in England. And it was impossible to know whether they were actually dead at the same time or not because communications were fucking horrible. It was all telegram and letter and stuff, you know? So, yeah, it spirals wildly out of control from that point onwards. I'm trying to find out who else died. Party who died cause of the curse. I did have this up, but apparently it's gone. Okay, so the alleged victims of the curse include Prince Ali Kamel Fahmy Bey of Egypt, shot dead by his wife in 1923. Sir Archibald Douglas Reed, who supposedly x-rayed the mummy and died mysteriously in 1924. Sir Lee Stack, the Governor General of Sudan, who was assassinated in Cairo in 1924. Arthur Mace of Carton's excavation team, said to have died of arsenic poisoning in 1928. Carter's secretary, Richard Bethel, who supposedly died smothered in his bed in 1929, and his father, who committed suicide in 1930. Those are all people that apparently died because of King Tutankhamun's curse. The curse of King Tutankhamun's thingy. But most of the people that actually worked or visited the tomb or anything like that actually survived. They lived long and rich lives, which is hilarious and wild to me. Now, the two other things that I want to talk about while we're talking about this wonderful, wild journey of history in regards to Egyptology and the curse of the tomb. One is the science of the curse, and one is the practices of unwrapping parties, which is when the Victorians would unwrap mummies, and also the weird eating of mummified bodies as well, because that I found particularly interesting. Okay, so the science itself in regards to the deadly mummies curse, a lot of people think that there is a direct association. Don't forget the whole color mummy brown. I don't know what you mean there, Mr. Psychic. I've not read anything in the 11 articles that I have read. I have not come across that reference anywhere. Also, how you doing? How's it going? So in regards to the science behind the mummy curse, all right, a lot of it is expected to be like, obviously the mummies, the people that died in direct relation, a lot of them got killed, a lot of them got murdered for various different reasons. A lot of them, and some of them died of natural causes, you know. However, if we take away from King Tutankhamun's mummy and we look at larger mummification and the curses associated therein, a lot of it comes down to funguses. A lot of health conditions that came from it, whether these people died or not, a lot of health conditions came from it, but especially in the early days of excavation and stuff like that, nobody really wore masks. Nobody wore ventilators. These days, when you see somebody like excavating a tomb or anything like that, you will see the vast majority of them wear heavy ventilation systems or at the very least decent masks in order to protect their lungs from the dust within the tomb itself, because there are some pretty fucking horrific things that can be found within the tombs themselves. For starters, a lot of the pharaohs and the high priests and important peoples of the courts and what have you, they were buried with all of their belongings, including food. So food would be prepared and packed up for them on their long journey into the afterlife, and it would just rot. It would sit there and rot. As we talked earlier, they found like jars of honey, and the honey's still good because honey doesn't really expire, but they would just sit there and rot. So there is a whole load of bacterial funguses, including Aspergillus niger and Aspergillus flavus, which can cause congestion or bleeding in the lungs, and lung assaulting bacteria known such as Pseudomonas and Staphylococcus were also presumed to have grown on the walls of tombs themselves, which may make them dangerous. However, F. de Wolf Miller, professor of epidemiology in the University of Hawaii at Manoa, concurs that Howard Carter, specifically the person who excavated Tutankhamun's tomb, was probably better off in the tomb than he was outside, because in the 1920s in Egypt, it was reportedly not particularly sanitary. In fact, the quote goes, "Upper Egypt in the 1920s was hardly what you'd call sanitary," Miller said. The idea that an underground tomb after 3,000 years would have some kind of bizarre microorganisms in it that is going to kill somebody 6 weeks later and make it look exactly like blood poisoning is very hard to believe. In fact, Miller said that he knows of no no archaeologist or single tourist for that matter who has experienced any afflictions caused by tomb toxins. There was another article that I read from popularmechanics.com. The deadly money cost that accompanied the mummified remains range from King Tutankhamun to Poland King Casimir IV isn't mysterious, it's just fungus. So it goes into the fact that they have like that these people died of fungus that was found on the bodies, because obviously with the process of mummification, a lot of the funguses and stuff that are on bodies are cleaned off, or don't give them enough, like they're drained of all their fluids. You take all their organs out, and their organs are dried out and stuff. There's not enough there for a fungus to grow on. However, there are other, it doesn't actually say this in this, but I know from understanding a certain amount of pathology and stuff like that, there are other contaminants that you can get from, say, bones. The reason why a lot of people that create skeletons for museums and stuff like that wear masks and ventilators and stuff while they're drilling the bones, while you see vets and surgeons and what have you, again, using pathologists, when they're doing autopsies and stuff like that, they will use their big masks and ventilators, partly to not contaminate what's in front of them, but also partly not to breathe in any of the bone dust, because corpses themselves have certain contaminants. I can't remember what it is. What can you catch from breathing bone dust? Hepatitis B, hepatitis C, streptococci, which we talked about before. Apparently, you can also get aerosols produced during... you can also get HIV, which obviously wouldn't have been around in Egyptian times, or to our knowledge. What disease can you get from that's ingesting the dust from animal bones? I think it was streptococci that I was thinking of originally. The risks of sawing a bone. Oh, wow. There are a whole load. Influenza, Lysa, aka rabies, avula, the herpes virus, more modern times, coronavirus, Mycoplasma sp, and then bacteria, Mycoplasma sp, Francisella tuaris, Brucella, Coxilia, Burnetti, Staphylococcus, Streptococcus, Microbacterium tuberculosis, Bacillus anthracis, Leptospira interrogans, Salmonella, Escherichia coli, Yersinia pestis, the fungus, Histoplasma aspelagus, SP, Cryptococcus. Cryptococcus is the one I was thinking of. That was the one. And then there's parasites as well, like Toxoplasma, although parasites will have died out by that point, I would imagine. But the point is that just from, like, if you break some bones, stand on, like, all those reporters going around standing on fucking, I don't know, mummified cats or what have you, like, there's a lot of potential pathogens that a person could breathe in the 1920s archaeology scene, you know? So in regards to like the curse, there is a lot to do with, like, science-wise. A lot of it just comes down to pathogens that are, whether it be viral, bacterial, parasitic, or what's the word? Fungus, that could be passed on through all of that, you know? Mummy brown, a rich brown pigment made from the flesh of mummies mixed with white pitch and myrrh. Oh, I had no idea, but that does not surprise me. That does not surprise me, because the next thing I wanted to talk about is all of that side of things. Because fuck me, that was a trip and a half. Ah, okay. So we needed this one and this one. Huh. I'm just getting all my Ooh, hold on a minute. What's this? Oh, this is interesting. Okay, little tidbit of information for you, friends. So after Lord Carnarvon's death, one newspaper reported that there was a curse found in the tomb that said, "They who enter this sacred tomb shall be swiftly visited by the wings of death." That was all bullshit. That was made up by the press company because they were bitter about the fact that the Times had exclusive rights. However, there was an inscription found on the Anubis shrine that stated, to our understanding of these hieroglyphics, "It is I who hinder the sand from choking the secret chamber. I am for the protection of the deceased." This was correctly reported to the public, but one reporter added his own words to the inscription that said, "And I will kill those who cross this threshold into the sacred precincts of the royal king who lives forever." So there was a statement of Anubis protecting the area, but naturally the press exaggerated all of that information. This is actually on touregypt.net. In addition to the newspapers seem to have arbitrarily killed off many people surrounding the tomb's discovery. According to one list, 26 people associated with the find died within a decade of its discovery. In reality, only 6 people died during this first decade, while many others lived to an old age. For example, the curse should have laid squarely on the shoulders of Howard Carter himself, but he lived another 17 years, dying just prior to his 65th birthday. Yet he had spent about a decade working the tomb. Others, likewise, lived long and fruitful lives. The following table provides the names and informations involved in the discovery. That's amazing. Okay, so we had Richard Adamson, who was a guard that slept in the tomb, and he died at age 81. George Benedict, he died at 69 of heat stroke he was the Louvre representative. Richard Bethel, Carter's personal secretary, died in London. James H. Breasted died at age 70 in the University of Chicago archaeologist. Bernard Breuer died at age 80. Harry Burton, who was the photographer and who was highly involved in the project, died in 1939. That's all he really gives. 1939, an assistant, one of Carter's assistant died. Jean Capar, a Belgian archaeologist, died age 70. Douglas Derry, age 87, analyzed King Tut's mummy. Reginald Engelbeck died 58. I'm just trying to look down here if there's anything tomb procedures, draftsman, handle all remains. Lady Evelyn Herbert, daughter of Lord Carnarvon, entered the tomb when opened, died in 1980 at age 78. Yeah, there was a lot of them died in their 60s onwards, you know. Like died at 69. Ooh, nice. Things I love about being self-taught Egyptologist. I constantly learn new things, right? Holly, they're all dead. He's dead, Dave. He's dead. Everybody's dead. Everybody is dead, Dave. They entered the King Tut's tomb. They're all dead, Dave. Everybody is dead. Everybody is dead, Dave. You know? Okay, so the last thing I want to talk about is the gory history of people eating mummies. Oh, yes, friends. Oh, yes. It actually started long before the 1920s. It started way back. It was called medical cannibalism. Okay? Medical cannibalism. In regards to specifically Egyptian specifically mummified dead bodies. Itch my nose. This is, in my personal opinion, fucking hilarious. Because it all comes down to a mistranslation. So historian Karl Dannenfeld wrote that it was all about a series of mistranslations and misunderstandings, and the practice of consuming parts of ancient Egyptian mummies and later embalmed corpses of all kinds began in the 11th century. The gory story, I'll read it as it says here because I think this is fucking brilliant. The gory story hinges on one word, mummia, which is M-U-M-I-A, which was prized for its healing qualities. Mummia was a substance found on a single Persian mountainside where it seeped from black rock asphalt, named after the local word for wax, which was mum. The substance was used for a variety of medical purposes and gained a reputation in the Arabic world as an expensive, precious, and effective medicine. But when Western Europeans began encountering the Islamic world and translating its text, the single mistranslation led to widespread confusion about the meaning of mummia, and according to Danfeld, a variety of 11th and 12th century translators incorrectly identified mummia as a substance that exuded from preserved bodies in Egyptian tombs. So we're talking like 600 years before the excavation of King Tut, which is hilarious. Medical cannibalism, but for generations, humans practiced what is now known as medical cannibalism in a bid for better health. From the belief that gladiators' blood could heal epilepsy to the use of human fat in home remedies, mummia was prescribed for everything from headaches to heart attacks, and a run on mummies followed. Suddenly, people were ransacking Egyptian tombs, not just for jewelry or pottery, but for the bodies within, and canny salesmen began collecting and selling mummies. Demand quickly outpaced supply, leading to a brisk trade in fake mummies. Body snatchers and unethical tradespeople began turning fresh cadavers and the bodies of executed criminals, enslaved people, and others into mummies in an attempt to capitalize on the craze. So there is like a genuine whole thing. And you know what? I saw this in an episode of Ghost Adventures, where there was a corpse of a person that was meant to be a 3,000-year-old. It was used for a sideshow. It wasn't used for medicine, but it was meant to be a 3,000-year-old Egyptian mummy that had been used for this sideshow. It's like, come see the Egyptian mummy, blah, 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 blah. And it turns out that it wasn't an Egyptian mummy at all. It was a local criminal that had been hung for his crimes and turned into a mummy and then sold to a sideshow. They literally dehydrated the fuck out of him and sold him to a sideshow as an Egyptian mummy. But you could see, if you looked closely and so that when they inspected the body, you could see like the old criminal tattoos and shit on him, which is fucking wild. Yeah, body snatchers would steal by night the bodies of such as were hanged, who noted the bodies then embalmed with salt and drugs, dried in an oven, and then ground into powder that apothecaries added to their own home remedies. It had actually... Yeah, it had actually... How's it going, Pie? How you doing? Is those to all children having to eat spinach because some medical study accidentally shifted the comma to the right, so it had... Everyone thought it had 10 times the amount of iron, and everyone afterwards just quoted that study until decades later. Yeah. But basically, Pie, yeah. Tut, what a silly mistake. Oh, Max, really? Really, Max? So I will say that by the 1920s, a lot of those practices, like medical cannibalism, especially in Europe, had pretty much died out. It had pretty much died out. It was science was very, very sought after in the late 1800s, 1900s, and that whole thing was like, okay, we know a little bit better now. We're not going to continue eating corpses, you know? Through though skepticism about mummy grew throughout the centuries, the fascination with mummies only rose. Egyptomania was so pronounced in England during the Victorian era that mummy unwrapping became a popular pastime in lecture halls, hospitals, and even private homes in the 19th century. As British men returned home from archaeological expeditions, colonial postings, or sightseeing tours with bodies that they had looted from Egyptian tombs. So all the way through the 1800s, which is the 19th century, for those people that don't know, all the way through the 1800s, people were ransacking the Egyptian tombs and bringing stuff back. But the real because there was a difference between looting a tomb, being a tomb raider, and being an archaeologist, you know. Despite the ban on the export of antiquities, Europeans continued seeking out mummies to both satisfy their curiosity and provide components for medical remedies. It wasn't until the 19th century that the use of mumia finally died off. Still, the world's fascination with ancient Egypt remedies remains. For proof, just look at the skincare shelf on your local store, where magic creams and other skincare items used as ancient Egyptian motifs with their advertising materials. Because people always said that the ancient Egyptian skincare regimes and stuff like that were like second to none, and they've died out. Everyone should go back to them because they were fucking amazing, and they died out because of the death of their civilization, as opposed to because they I thought I was going to sneeze, because they didn't work properly, or they didn't work as good as modern day stuff, you know. There was something else I wanted to read to you about. So yeah, by the 19th century, people were no longer consuming mummies to cure illness, but the Victorians were hosting unwrapping parties, where Egyptian corpses would be unwrapped for the entertainment at private parties. Napoleon's first expedition into Egypt in 1798 piqued European curiosity and allowed 19th century travelers to Egypt to bring whole mummies back to Europe for off the street in Egypt. So people were like, Egyptians would actively raid them to sell the mummies curiosity, you know. Victorians held private parties dedicated to unwrapping the remains of ancient Egyptian mummies. Early unwrapping events had at least a veneer of medical respectability. In 1834, the surgeon Thomas Pettigrew unwrapped a mummy at the Royal College of Surgeons, and in his time, autopsies and operations took place in public. This unwrapping was just another public medical event. Yeah, I mean, that's a well-known thing, that autopsies and stuff would be, or you'd see like the big tiers in the round of medical professionals that would watch an autopsy. Soon, even the pretense of medical research was lost. By now, mummies were no longer medicinal, but thrilling. A dinner host who could entertain an audience while unwrapping was rich enough to own an actual mummy. The thrill of seeing dried flesh and bones appeared as bandages came off meant that people came flocking to these unwrappings. Whether in private home or the theatre of learned society, strong drink meant audiences were loud and appreciative. Fucking wild. There is also, I will say, there is also a big thing in there as well of the occult. Because with the, as they say, Egyptomania, more and more people were buying into the idea of curse, especially after the 1920s when the Egyptian curse, the curse of the Pharaohs, as publicized by British papers, went out there. More and more people were intrigued by hieroglyphics, by the idea of Egyptian curses, by the idea of the Egyptian afterlife. It all seemed so foreign, so mystical, so magical to the Europeans, but very specifically the British people, that there were definitely situations with mummy unwrappings where it would have a lot more of a ritualistic dynamic to it, where you would have secret societies. There is, I've read rumors, but no definitive proof of organizations like the Masons, the Freemasons, who were they're like a private club. They're a secret society, for lack of a better word, even though they're not that secret. In the United Kingdom, very similar to what you would see as like the Knights of Pythias, if you've heard of those in America, which blows my mind because the Americans never had medieval knights, but they still called themselves the Knights of Pythias. I seem to remember the Knights of Pythias was actually somebody in America who really wanted a secret society and was inspired by an Irish poet, so made this society themselves. The Knights of Pythias, obviously, then the Illuminati is the other big one. It's that whole secret society, let's do rituals, let's explore the occult. And there were definitely like unwrapping parties that were dedicated to the occult. So they would unwrap mummies with the aim of using the mummy's spirit to enrich themselves, using the mummy's spirit to gain power in society, to push, to be victorious in their business conquests and stuff like that, you know? Egyptian skincare was wild. Wasn't it? A lot of it was shit. They used to like mix a lot of manure with milk and shit like that. It was pretty wild. Thoughts of a nobody. How you doing? How's it going? Can't be left out of any club. Can't be left out of a single one. There's a couple of secret societies here in the US. Yeah, there's still secret societies fucking everywhere. The Masons was far more of the Freemasons in the UK was far more of a way of establishing social standing, whether anyone liked it or not. So the way that it used to be, and I know this because I had relatives that were Masons, and I have known a lot of people that have been Masons. There was a thing where it was like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. How's it going, Conqueror Village? That's how you doing. Very much you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Very much okay, you're going to give the job. Like, you've got a job going in your very important firm. You're going to give it to this person because that is the child of our Freemason friend. And that means, or you're going to give it to him because he's a Freemason. Even if other people are more qualified, it doesn't make a difference. You give it to the Masons. You give it to thingies. Amusingly, when I was looking up the Knights of Pythias, I found out that like there have been some very important people in America. Like, we're talking, one of them was a president. A lot of state senators, a lot of very important lawyers and shit like that have been Knights of Pythias. And I am always skeptical when somebody's part of a secret organization. I'm like, did you deserve to be there, or did you get there because you were a Knight of Pythias? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, no. How's it going, Conqueror Varys asks, how you doing? Same with Conception, so much shit. Yeah, so much shit. I think it was something weird on Sunday. There's been a lot of weird shit going around, do you know what I mean? Quid pro quo, exactly. Color me shocked. What are the chances? Oh yeah, 100%. It's fucking wild. But yeah, so that is basically the curse of the mummy. That is the whole shebang. Effectively came down to, there were originally curses that were done as a religious ritual, a religious safeguarding security system to ward off not only evil, but ward off like looters, warning them that the gods of Egypt would crash down upon them. May crocodiles find you. The gods of Egypt would crash down on them for disgracing a tomb, for desecrating. That's the word I was looking for desecrating a tomb. Then, I mean, fucking hell, the Egyptian reign. There we go. Eris Ptolemy. How long did the Egyptians reign for? How long was, like, from the Old Kingdom to the demise, I want to say with Cleopatra, or just after Cleopatra? How long was that? Was it like, yeah, I feel like it was like 3,000 years or something like that. I feel like it was a real long time that they were the Egyptian system, the Egyptian state was running for. Fear Italian things. Got off an 11-year friendship and situationship. Good. If it's better for you, you'll have cut it off for a reason. Do you know what I mean? Right, it's okay. I can find out. So, the Roman and Byzantine era was 30 BCE. So, nearly 4,500 years. Nearly 4,500 years. If you're talking from the Romans so beginning with Augustus Caesar, Ptolemy the First, and ending with Cleopatra. So the Ptolemaic dynasty is 30 BCE. So if we go from the end of Cleopatra, because I'm not going to include the Romans there, so for nearly 4,500 years, that was how long the belief system was in place in regards to being afraid of the Egyptian gods, being afraid of what the deities may do if you raided the tomb and what have you. And then you, on top of that, you then have 2,000 years. Well, on top of that, you then have, what was it, 11th century? Which is the 1200. So you got 1,200 years.
Me. Ooh, you little stalker.
Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on in, you beautiful being. You've got 1,200 years of the mummy, the tombs potentially being desecrated by like looters and stuff like that. But after in the 1200s to the 1900s, you've then got them being looted for medicinal purposes, where people are literally ingesting the mummified corpses in order to use them for medicine. So you would have at the very least, like 800 years of tomb desecration, where people just ignored all of the curses, didn't care about the heritage, they didn't care about the history, they didn't care about the old deities, didn't care about any of those things. All they cared about was what was in there and what they could make, what money they could make off it. And then you hit the 1920s, where, well, you hit the middle 1800s to the early 1900s, where archaeologists were getting involved. They were more intrigued by it. Well, pretty much from the Napoleonic period, when more and more Europeans were coming into Egypt, investigating, finding out what was going on. Obviously, the empire and all that jazz. And then 1920s hit, and King Tut's tomb was excavated. They learned so much about ancient Egyptian history within King Tut's tomb. Within 6 months, the sponsor dies, and suddenly the Egyptian curse. You literally have approximately 6,000 years of history of people pilfering and stealing and taking all these corpses and eating them and grinding them up and putting them on display and doing all this fucking shit. But no, 1920s is when the curse really started to kick in because of tabloids, friends. Because of tabloids, you know? It is wild. But yeah, so there you go. There you go. Much like zombies eating human beings was very much a media thing. It was cinemas that got us to realize that zombies eating human beings was definitely a trope for good entertainment. It turns out that the Mummy's curse was originally a warning, a security measure that then became a media trope in order to roll out and harsh down on stuff. And then obviously in the I suppose it was the late 1800s, but I think it was 1911. In fact, I knew this. It was Cleopatra. It was Cleopatra. In I want to say 1911. Obviously, there was the 1932 movie with Boris Karloff, The Mummy, which talks about Imhotep. Imhotep is a fascinating person. It was a 1911 movie about Cleopatra that originally had that featured a mummy's curse. It was obviously like a black and white movie. I read it in one of these articles, but I can't find the reference to it anymore. But you know what I mean. Crimson Snowdrop, how you doing? Where rich people got interested in digging up stuff. What are the chances? Do you know what I mean? Ushering in the Hammer horror era? Yeah. Well, he ushered in the classic horror era first, and then Hammer horror was just like fucking next level. Because I didn't realize. I thought all of the classics, I thought all of the classics were Hammer horror. I thought that was the genre of horror, but it turns out not. Hammer was a movie like Universal Pictures, like Fox Network. It was all part and parcel of that entire thing. So Hammer Horror is actually a cinema, a movie production company. You know? Hi, Chunk. Doing all right? No, lungs still dead. All right, mate. We scratched your throat on Sunday. Couldn't speak for a whole 4 hours. I was about to say there's some bad shit going around Conqueror Veritas, so just rest up, make sure you're all right. Take lots of vitamin C. Suppose it depends on the timeline. Most I've counted is 3,000 years, but almost 4.5 sounds more correct, especially if you're counting the non-pharaohic Egypt. Yeah, I'm counting right the way, because technically the last pharaoh was Cleopatra, right? Before the Romans came in. Random fact: modern Egyptian, modern Coptic is a descendant of ancient Egyptian. All right, okay. Did not know that. Adding on to my previous message, 3K also makes sense due to the fact that there are some who don't include the Ptolemaic dynasty as pharaonic era, Egypt, due to them being Greek and not fully Egyptian. That's fair. So 3,000 to 4,500. However, regardless of the situation, they still had a massive chunk of history where people did fear the old gods. Everyone's saying feel better soon, Chunk.
Thank you. Do you want a karate?
Ooh. Yeah, just a little one though. Yeah. It's one of the local takeaways. Who is Chunk? Chunk's my housemate. Classic Chunk on Twitch. I'll give him a shout out so you can all go follow him. There you go. That's Classic Chunk. That's my housemate. There you go. So I lived alone. No. Chunk's lived with me for nearly a year now. Before that, I had another housemate called Grant, who was great. Awesome bloke. And he moved out. He's gone on to do other things. He's traveling the world at the moment with his current job, which is fucking great. Last I heard, he was in South Africa. Don't know. I haven't heard from him since. I hope he's okay. The Cleopatra film was released in 1912. I think I'm talking about a different one, though. Eris told me. There is a 1912 Cleopatra movie that is a short of Anthony and Cleopatra. But there is another... There was a 1911 movie that specifically referred to a mummy coming back from the dead. Or that's what I read in this article. It said it had now been lost. It was like an old movie that is now been lost to the ebbs of time. But it was the first movie that actually featured a mummy returning from the grave. You know? Self-promo social links place to offer blue sky invites for perks that might want them. Depends. Althena Luna, drop me a message and ask me. And I will let you know where to correctly put that. Okay? Because I want to check what it is before you start putting it in chat and stuff, you know. But yeah, if you drop me a DM in Discord, I'll pick it up and see what it is. All right. There is a great Egyptian flaw, and that's a point. If there's something that you're not sure about, friends, please ask me. Because at the end of the day, it's still my Discord. Do you know what I mean? Still my Discord. If you're not sure about something, drop me a message. I'll let you know. You know? If you think about it, Caesarion was the last pharaoh. As in what, the Augustus Caesar? Yeah, I suppose technically speaking, yeah. There's a great Egyptian floor at the museum near me with real mummies. The hall has signs that say, "Please be aware that this room contains human remains." Well, just as a bit of a heads up. Just by the way, this museum contains human remains, or this room does. Is that because people are afraid of human remains? I don't know. I've seen that many corpses in my life, and by that many, I've seen 4. Open coffin wakes and the like. Legit thought you had your own house and lived alone. I do have my own house, but I don't live alone. You know? Because Chunk's rent helps me pay for the house. You know? At one stage, I did live alone. During the pandemic and stuff, I lived alone. And that nearly sent me mad. So I'm glad that I have that, you know? I'm glad that I have that. Oh, Cleopatra's son with Julius Caesar. Ptolemy Caesarion. Oh, no idea about that one. Anyway. Guess people are a bit squirmy about it, I guess. Yeah, so I suppose I can understand it. I suppose I can understand it. It is quite unusual, I would imagine. But yeah, anyway, friends, that is the origin of the Egypt. We got there eventually, friends. It only took us an extra week. But we got there eventually. We have done the origins of the Egyptian curse. The Egyptian curse. However, do not forget that we will be doing next week. We're going to deep dive witches, and then the week after we're going to deep dive werewolves, and that's going to bring us to the end of our Mythical Mondays section. We'll do another one in December on Krampus and Krampusnacht. That's the next one we're going to be doing. So for those people that don't know, that might have just joined us at the end or what have you, with the whole thing we're doing is Mythical Mondays, where we are deep diving the origin stories of the monsters, of the classic monsters of Halloween. We've done vampires, we've done zombies, and we have now done the Curse of the Mummy. Next week we'll do witches, then the week after we'll do werewolves, and that'll bring us to the end of our escapade of the big 5 that we were going to do in October before my computer died and all that jazz. And then we'll do Krampusnacht in December. Okay? Thank you for all the informations and ponders. I appreciate you all being here. You beautiful beings. I really, really do. It's been great. It's been really good. I've thoroughly enjoyed delving deep into it all and learning about the bits and pieces, you know? Living alone can be overrated. I completely agree. That, like, me living alone, when I lived in this house by myself, it was the first time I'd ever lived alone, and I hated it. Absolutely fucking hated it. You know. And we'll go on tangent, but yeah, Cleopatra and Ptolemy Caesarion ruled together. Cleopatra died before Caesarion did. Okay, interesting. I mean, I'm not surprised if she was his mother, but anyway, I'm not gonna go into all of that stuff. There was something else I was going to talk about, but we don't need to talk about that now.
Pander to my ego.
Oh, my lordy.
Pander to it. Pander to it.
So you're wrapping up your steam on Mummies.
Are you for real, Shade Secrets? Are you actively fucking shitting me? You did not just say that. You did not actually just say you're wrapping up your stream on Mummies.
I don't see.
Oh my god. Oh my god! Favorite Christmas creature is Grilka, with her Yule lads and her children stealing Christmas cats. Icelandic is wild. Maybe for next year. Maybe. Yeah, we can do that. No TTS did it for me. Don't you dare, you cheeky little devil, you. You cheeky little devil, you. Friends, I'm going to wrap it up there. All right? I'm going to wrap it up there. I have genuinely enjoyed this. So, first of all, a massive thank you to Eris Ptolemy for that. I did want to talk about who Imhotep was, because Imhotep, many people will know from either the 1932 Boris Karloff movie or the classic bisexual awakening, the 1990s The Mummy movie. How's it going, Chunk? How you doing? There will be a thing, but yeah, they make out Imhotep to be like one of the later Pharaoh's chief advisors because of all the gold and the riches and what have you, but Imhotep was like one of the earliest Greek architects who like invented the step pyramids and invented half the fucking shit that exists in ancient Egypt or designed it all, and then it all just fucking spiraled and shit from there. It's fucking wild. But anyway, friends, we're going to go and raid somebody. We're going to go do that thing. So a massive thank you to Eric Ptolemy for providing me with all that information. I really, really appreciate it. I did add some more stuff that I found myself, but I really appreciate you being there for a big old helping hand for me kickstarting my understanding and bits and pieces. But let's go throw some love at another delightful individual. While I'm finding somebody, could you do me a massive favor and throw some mod loves in the channel? Say a massive thank you to those wonderful moderators. You can use any kind of mod loves from any kind of channel. You can use any kind of love hearts from any kind of channel. Say a massive thank you to those wonderful mods. Let's go throw some mod loves then. Mods, thank you so much for all that you do. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for all that you do in and out of stream. All the stuff that you do for me in the Discord. All the stuff you do for me behind the scenes. I would really, really appreciate all that mod loves, you beautiful beings. Let me have a quick look at who we can go and throw some love at. Who's playing something a bit more on the unnerving variety? And I don't mean like horror movies, but like if there's somebody playing like a zombie game or something like that, that'd be quite a fun one to raid into after this conversation, you know? What are you playing? I have no idea, but that is confusing. Or we could go raid this person, because that's a delightful name. Oh no, let's raid this person. We haven't raided this person in years. Oh, fucking hell, let's go raid this person. Friends, if you could stick around for the raid, I would really appreciate it. I would really appreciate it. Friends, if you are a subscriber, please copy and paste the first raid message. If you are not a subscriber, please copy and paste the second raid message. You're welcome. I also wanted to do an extended apology if I overstepped at all. I know how complex finding accurate research about Egypt can be sometimes. That's all right. If you'd have overstepped, I'd have said something. If you'd have overstepped, I would have said something, because I am not shy about that shit. I'm just like, guess what? Nah, I'm not cool with this. Calm it down. Relax it back a little bit, all right? Relax it back a little bit. Ooh, 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 ooh. Bear with me, friends. Yeah, fuck it. We're in this person. We're in this person. Because we haven't raided this person in fucking forever. We're going to go raid Smexy. We're going to go raid Smexy. Smexy is... I haven't seen them on playing in fucking forever because they moved to the other side of the world and then I lost all the traveling and stuff. They used to play a shitload, an absolute fucking shitload of Sea of Thieves, and I went through a big phase of really enjoying Sea of Thieves. I went through a really big phase of enjoying Sea of Thieves, but today they are playing Project Zomboid. They used to be known as Smexy Chicken, if I remember correctly. So if you are not in the raid up here, please click on the link over here. No, on the link down here. so we can all go throw some love at this beautiful bean. They are glorious. I haven't seen them in fucking forever. We haven't raided them in fucking forever, so it'd be nice to go throw them some love, do you know? Let's go throw them some love, you beautiful individuals. Friends, thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for the raids, the hosts, the subs, the gift subs, all the cheeky little bitties. Thanks so much for the throne contribution we had earlier. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks so much for spending your time here. Thanks so much for spending in and listening and chatting with me and offering tidbits of information. I didn't know about the mummy brown paint and stuff like that. It's been fucking great. It's been wonderful. I've really, really enjoyed myself. Friends, until next time, which is tomorrow at 1 p.m. BST. That's 1 p.m. British time, where we're going to be playing a cat again. Until next time, don't do anything I wouldn't do, because if I wouldn't do it, I'll fucking kill you. I'll see you tomorrow. 1 p.m. BST. Bye-bye.
Find them from the deck. What do you mean? Vane, thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it.